This is a public announcement. You are cordially invited to join us in a rousing rendition of Kumbaya. 2, 3, 4. Kumbaya, my lord, Kumbaya. Kumbaya, my lord, Kumbaya. Kumbaya, my lord, Kumbaya. Oh Lord, Kumbaya.
Oh no, not these assholes. Welcome to Hutton Orbital. I recommend spending no time here at all.
Spring has sprung. All across the habitation decks, the little birdies are singing in the hollow trees. Except for that faulty one on B deck. Those birds are singeing. I hope someone fixes the connection soon. The smell of burning feathers is putting me off my tea. Down at the security kennels, the Momus Bog Spaniels have shed their winter coats. Never once for waste, the human members of the team have swept up the clumps of hair and sold them on to Eddie Lee Wise and Sons, plus his daughters, where they will be washed, we hope, combed, clipped and contoured before being expertly crafted into the finest space merkins this side of the Lavian Triangle. All along the parade, the fine people of Hutton are sporting brand new bonnets. Some are decorated with flowers. Some have fake eggs or little baby chicks. Others have bunny ears. And a few of them have other symbols of fertility. Cecil has switched from slow gin to full-on botanicals overload. Every time he burps, which is quite often, an aftershave-like smell wafts around the room. It's not his usual Centauri Mega Gin either. This one has a little ship on the front of the bottle and appears to be some sort of vintage spiced gin. Percy Thrasher is hard at work in the ceremonial gardens. He finishes planting the last bed of bulbs, straightens up and stands back to admire his work. He's laid out the tulips so that they form words. A passerby stops and reads the display out loud.
Our mics are live. Good evening, truckers and friends, and welcome to this week's exciting instalment of Hutton Orbital Live. Marginally delayed, slightly discombobulated, but ready for action. We are in Studio 5, and this week, it's a Green Room week.
What's one of those, then? And does it matter that we've got lilac paisley print wallpaper in here?
No, it means we chat to them over there, through that window.
Behind that big airlock door?
Well, I suppose we might let them out towards, I don't know, the end of the show.
Oh, wait. Someone did remember to turn on the air supply to the room, didn't they?
Oh, that might explain why they're turning that colour. Hang on a sec.
Right. Whilst we wait for all of them to catch their breath and put away all of the sharp implements, I suppose we'd better read out some, news. Hudson's hustle. Desperate president clings to clout, corrupts cash, and creates chaos.
Tissue's triumph. Troops tackle Thargoid terror with towels.
Hutton Helper heralds hot hordes of mug makers. Too Hot Too Messy reaches 63k deliveries.
Poking porcupines and befriending badgers. Salvation's strange USB stick saga.
Atrus 5060s basking in a Thargoid thrashing triumph this week.
Avik avails, Ross rocks, and Bernard bounces back. Hutton hectic week ahead in Hutton's BGS News.
And we received a message about the event on 8th of April from Commander Fish 2193.
In the latest news, Federation President Hudson is coming under fire. There's a surprise, with increasing speculation that he's desperate to cling to power at all costs. Yet again, not a surprise. Sources close to the president are feeling the heat, as rumours swirl that Hudson is willing to do whatever it takes to keep his hands on the galactic lever of power. Or at least his little corner of it, his seat at the table with Thingy from the Empire and What's It from the Alliance. You know, to be able to put his name on all the great things the Federation do, and then blame someone else for all the terrible things. That sort of power. The responsibility-dodging kind that comes with a hot tub, private car, and enough tin pot medals you need a board to mount them across your chest. The murmurings come as no surprise to those familiar with the President's past. His career has been littered with examples of questionable behaviour. From that time he allegedly tried to sell off the Federation's supply of anti-Xeno weaponry to a notorious arms dealer, to the incident involving the Imperial twins, a guinea pig, and that plastic sheet. It's no secret that the President is under pressure to keep his secrets from coming out. For months now it's been whispered that he's preparing to launch a desperate smear campaign against his opponents, not unlike this article, in a bid to keep his critics at bay and hang on to power. This was, of course, after he tried rigging the system to dodge actually having an election, and overturn the rule meaning that time's up was no longer a thing for a sitting president. He even checked whether he could sit out a year as Prime Minister and then shoehorn himself back in as President, but no one in their right mind would allow that in a modern political system, would they? The whispers have only been fueled by recent reports that the President has been lining his own pockets, once again, not a surprise, with Federation funds, and that he's been taking bribes from corporate interests in return for favourable contracts. His supporters have been quick to deny these rumours, but it has done little to quell the speculation. Recent polls show that President Hudson's approval rating has dropped significantly, from 1% down to 0, with many citizens of the Federation now believing he's nothing more than a corrupt despot, desperate to cling to power in the face of damning evidence of mismanagement of the Federation's resources. The President's opponents have wasted no time in taking advantage of the situation, calling for an immediate impeachment and for fresh elections to be held. Which does go to show how much they've been paying attention, as there already is one coming soon. But with President Hudson clinging to power with a vice-like grip, it looks like it may be some time before the citizens of the Federation can be sure of a fair and just leader at the helm. If only because it's highly likely that he's not the only megalomaniac in the building.
With news from Hackswing coming later in this broadcast, and containing far more detail than this bit of the news, and most probably lists of systems in which you ought to be going to do stuff, it's gratifying to know that the previous week's news articles are being listened to by someone. Following our expose of the rather silly tactics suggested by Aegis, and our suggestion that they should be ignored and instead giant apple corers be taken to any passing Thargoids, it appears that whoever it was that was listening to the broadcast only went and did it. Yes, they turned the proverbial probinator round and gave Tharg a dose of his own medicine. After centuries of reports of people going missing and then coming back years later with tales of being stuck in one orifice or another by an alien with long fingers, or a long face, or something they probably should have warmed up first, we've worked out that the best way to scare off Tharg the Mighty and his, or her, or their mighty mini minions would be tissues. Lots and lots of tissues. We're not sure how wiping tissues all over the passing Cyclops has helped scare them off. Maybe they like being green and slimy, or maybe they hate the texture as it sets their mandibles on edge, but tissues it is. And armed with this knowledge and a box of Kleenex, pilots have been jumping in and out and in and out of systems that are under threat, screaming, "Come and have a go if you think you're hard enough," until some bored Thargoid yoinks them out of frame shit with a hyperdiction and attempts to put the kibosh on all that yelling and fighty talk. At which point, wings of pilots perform an ancient dance involving paper hankies, probably with a stick and a balloon on the end, and then they run off with the tissue before handing it in to Megaship. Of course, not wanting to get their hands mucky, they're using little limpets to do the actual wiping. And at which point, the wiped warmonger wails and goes running back to the nearest maelstrom to tell their boss about all these weird encounters of the man-sized towelled variety. And Tharg says, "Thunk that for a game of soldiers, we'll go somewhere else." And ta-da! A system is saved from invasion. Congratulations to the German hunter-gatherer commanders of the Stellarnesbula project. In wiping their way to victory at the Oya Maelstrom, they reported that during one mammoth wiping session lasting 30 minutes, they must have been sore after that, they managed to fill a whole box of tissues up. Not sure they'll get rid of the smell, but that's one Thargoid feeling more than a little chafed.
After 34 weeks, 8 months, or 2/3 of a year, Too Hot Too Messy, the Hutton-led initiative to deliver a Hutton mug and Megagin to all the stations in the galaxy, has reached over 63,000 deliveries. Last week was up on the previous 2 weeks, and average deliveries have remained above 1,700, which is good. No, really, it is. We've no idea if any new commanders joined the effort this week, as the Hutton helper is on the fritz again. But by the last time we looked, 284 commanders had signed up, representing 93 squadrons. Hutton was the largest contingent, but we've delivered less than half the total. So thanks go to all the other squadrons taking part. The Buckyball Racing Club are in second place, the Winged Hussars are in third, the Paladins are in fourth, the Burr Pit are fifth, and the Undead are sixth, concluding the squadrons that have collectively delivered more than 1,000 Hutton mugs and Centauri Megagin. He who's buggered off to the BBC this week is still leading the deliveries table with almost 8,500 mugs delivered. Some say that he's doing a different radio show tonight. Waller81 is second with 7,400 deliveries, ahead of Nemb in third and Shay Blackwood in fourth place, ahead of Infinite Dreamer in fifth. The 1,000 Club now has 10 members. Of course, we sometimes know a bit about this because it's occasionally tracked by the marvel that is the Hutton Helper, and updated sporadically on the Too Hot Too Messy event page at hot.forthemug.com/hot_mess_2. Also, the helper is now fully updated and supports both full Tharg and Tharg Lite versions of the game. So however you play, your Hutton Rares contribution will be recognised automatically. Apart from the mere glory alone, there is an additional incentive in the form of a chance to win a real-world, handle the right way up, dishwasher-safe Hutton mug. Any commander that delivers 10 mugs and gin in the coming week will be entered into next week's draw to win a real Hutton mug. Unless, of course, you already have one, the Hutton Helper breaks down, or whichever comes first. 32 lucky commanders have accomplished this so far, and you can see a little golden mug next to their names in the top commanders table. Last week's winner was Myopic 3, also known as Myopic Eagle 3. No relation to Eddie the Eagle, or so we're told. So, keep listening for this week's winner to be announced in the banter bit after the news. If you had delivered 10 mugs and gin a week, in every week since the start, 8 months ago, you'll have racked up 340 deliveries next to your commander name. Only 1 in 7 of commanders who have signed up have managed this. If you haven't, why not give it a try? In order to join in the fun, you'll need to sign up by downloading the Hutton Helper from hot.forthemug.com/download. And then your mug and gin deliveries will be automatically registered for you by Antarius quasi-sentient AI-augmented Nexus 6 action hamsters, which come with eagle eyes, realistic fur, and a kung fu grip.
It comes as absolutely no surprise that Galnet News is yet again full of strange stories about salvation. The Galnet News Digest later in the show is sure to be touching upon the story and providing their own incisive insight into what's going on. But Hutton's absolutely convinced of the truth that Salvation did indeed manage to find a spare USB stick lying around someplace, stuff it in his ear, then take it out and stuff it in the other way up and download something to a computer. Rumours that it took Guardian technology to create a USB stick that was able to capture the entire tactical playbook of, I know, let's poke that dangerous looking alien with a big stick, and whilst we're doing something dangerous, let's stand really close so we get a good look. We're led to believe that there are entire chapters dedicated to how to kick a porcupine's arse and fighting honey badgers for beginners. Coupled with a dodgy knockoff copy of a text-to-speech engine that Salvation found on a PC magazine cover CD from the 1990s and an AI chat engine from the early 2000s, we're absolutely convinced that given a few more Guardian doohickeys with a USB port, a battery and the correct chanting by some brotherhood or sisterhood in funky robes, we're probably all doomed. In our view, post the USB stick to one of the maelstroms with a note saying, sorry about that guys, fancy popping over for a cuppa and a chat and let's see if we can't all sort this out like well-behaved spacefaring races. P.S. He's in here if you want. Password is olives with a 3 where the E should be. Knowing our luck it would be full of viruses and give Darg the big BSOD.
Good evening, trackers! Items 50-50, 50-60, reporting in for the latest updates on the Thargoid War. We had a big week for humanity and Tharg needs to be on the lookout now that we've gotten better at countering them. This week, the AX community celebrated a massive feat of clearing 32 systems, some of which were liberated from Thargoid control. This is our best week so far, and has proven that the new tactic of harvesting Thargoid tissue samples and selling them to rescue ships is extremely effective. This is now defining a new role, AX pilots in this war, one which we need to urgently fill in Hexring, which is that of Thargoid Biopsy Specialist. Hexring is to be congratulated for its role in the MODE, or is it MODE, Alliance in the defence of 26688. Number U has Ge and Kagotsushi.
Bless you.
This was also a record week for MODE, or is it MODE? Where we successfully defended 6 systems. In addition to that, I am proud to announce that XCOM has a new staff member. Commander Azrael has been promoted to X-Wing Coordinator alongside myself. He will undergo the long uphill tradition that every member of XCOM has to endure when they join our staff. 3 hours have been locked inside a small closet with Commander LCU, Nolan Fool like one, who will perform his latest hits. I've been told his latest song of Highway to Raxler has a 20-minute vocalization solo, oh gold, incorporating elements of high-pitched screaming to emulate the mental struggle of hunting for a Raxler. Best of luck to Commander Azarav, who will, I am sure, survive the ordeal with only minor psychological damage. This week, Hackswing will be deploying to the 4 Maelstrom. Your orders will be to defend the following systems. Oh no. HIP 1A702 and Kalkadulma. HIP 18702 is an alert system with a single outpost, so medium ships are going to be required for any evac or supply missions. Caladuna is undergoing invasion, so combat pilots will be needed there. See you on the front line, truckers. For the mug!
After a few weeks of calm in Hutton space, 2 systems in particular are getting themselves noticed this week. And even the usual problem child has bucked up its ideas. We are within hours of losing one of our longest held and most fought over systems. More on those stories coming up. In the news, again, and this time for the usual reason, it's AVIC on 34%. Sirius have managed to get enough of their shiz together to win 3 days in the latest chapter of the Forever War, so we need to win the 2 remaining days, including today, in order not to lose the system. For no reason that is apparent, Ross 671 has slid back 3 points this week to 36%. There are no adverse states in the system, active or pending, so it's wide open for you to go in there and do some good. Our usual basket case, Bernard Star, has dragged its sorry carcass up to 41% this week, beating both Epsilon Indy and LP 525-39 by just a point. Hutton won last week's war to stay in the Groombridge 34 system, and this morning embarked on another round of conflict with their new neighbours. At the overachieving end of the Hutton systems table, we have only 3 systems above 60%. Whoever is doing what in WISE 0855-0714, do stop it. Priorities this week are, if you want to truck something, boost Ross 671. If you want to shoot something, and believe me, seriously, you do, win the next 2 days in AVIC or we'll lose the system.
Next, we have received a message giving notice of an event on the 8th of April for Commander Fish 2193. Dear fellow truckers, on April the 8th there will be the 3rd Hot Poof PUPH.A.X event. As of this post, there were 8 devoted truckers setting their time aside to help with the war against humanity. This is the same group of truckers who have been fighting this war every day since I was lucky enough to join this group. Under the leadership of Atris 5060, Hackswing Command, and with the help of allied squadrons, we have fought back these murder flowers from dozens of systems. With the planning, inventiveness and killer spreadsheet skills of Azrael, we have delivered needed supplies, evicted standard or wounded civilians, taken samples of the enemy hide and used to do one of the most important and fun things, which is to bring some murder to those flowers. All this hype is leading to why I'm so long-winded. I have worked a side job for the past few days and raised a war chest of about 5 billion credits. I'm lucky at this point in the game that I have more than I need, and it's time to give back. Are you new to the group, game, fighting, anti-Xeno, and just don't have the funds to jump in? Don't know how to fight? Come over to #Dargoid and there is a wealth of experience on builds. No engineering or Guardian tech, no problem. Not the ace pilot you know you are inside. Talk to retired Navy IT1. He's a great pilot, by the way. About the glory of the T-10 turret and how scouts fear its 6 anti-Xeno miniguns of doom bought at any rescue ship. Don't want to fire around in anger? There are supplies loaded on Hax carriers near the system to chuck in needed war supplies. On the way out, use those cargo bays to hold wounded people. I offer the support to these players for their time on one day, April the 8th. I hope to double the number of truckers at this month's event. Heck, if you've been around the bubble and just short of that shiny fleet carrier, let me put your butt in that command deck chair. Just use your 500-year jump machine to set up a shop near invaded systems for truckers to bring in supplies. I'll even stock your ship with my own T9. What better time than now, and what better place than here? These will be the stories that you will tell your grandchild. This was the time you fought to keep your trade lanes open. Make sure all the longest in-system trips are still there for generations to come. These Thargoids are no match for a group of focused, organised and ginned up truckers. Come show them what for the mug really means. If any of this rambling struck a chord with you, please message me and I'll make the arrangements to get you the funds to be in this fight. I'll even cover rebuys. So new truckers, old truckers, truckers out in the deep, heed this call and join the fight. Would you like to know more? Truckers, thank you for your time. Commander Fish 2193, HUTT, Copac Cars, Glory.
And we're back in the studio. And relax a little bit.
Breathe.
That was and
fun.
breathe. It was fun. Obviously, those of you listening won't know that shortly before the show went on air, all of the decks in front of the studio here decided to stop working, and we had to jury rig them with a piece of string, some gaffer tape. We hit them a few times with an apology officer, and they started working, sort of. So, any scenes?
Basically, it was a moment.
It definitely was. There was a flush noise when we flushed out all the old software, and yes, and then Flossy hit it with a pan a few times, and things started working again. So apologies for the 5 minutes late starting this evening.
Hey, that's my job.
Oh, sorry, apology officer.
We really are.
Could you do the thing for me?
I've just done it.
Oh, you did? Oh, well, yeah, and I'm sorry for talking over you.
He interrupted me doing it to ask me to do it.
Seamless.
Absolutely seamless. Anyway, well, we're in the studio this evening. It is the last show of the month, which means we've got most of the crew, but hopefully later a bit of a green room. But we've got Litho Breaker. Good evening, Litho.
Hello.
Enjoying having a little bit of a week off from pushing the buttons now that I'm back.
Yep, certainly am.
And hopefully I'm going to insert enough seams to make it feel like a proper Hutton Orbital Radio show. And we've got Flossy. Hello, good evening, Flossy.
Good evening.
I understand that breaking news broke just as we were coming on air as well about the event.
Oh, yes. Yes, it did.
So thank you very much with the marker pen for sort of like scrawling it into the end of the script there. And thank you very much for Fish2193 for talking about it. I have dropped in on the last couple of events. I don't know whether you've seen them streaming over on the Discord channel at all, Flossy, on the previous ones. But I've been sort of joining in at about midnight, and they are still going. And Snuggles McKeague and Retired Navy and all that lot, just smashing stuff. Yeah.
Fair.
And all good fun. And funnily enough, Atros seems to have something wrong with his voice when I hear him on those streams, because he seems to have, I don't know, gone a bit deeper and a bit more clear than normal. So
is that crap Atros a stunt double?
Well, maybe yes, because it's combat. Atros is using a stunt double.
I think he's just got a really dodgy mic.
Yeah.
Oh no, I thought he turns up with Alvin occasionally at events.
That is a dodgy mic.
Yes,
that's a very dodgy mic.
Yeah. Anyway, we're also joined by the apology officer. Good evening, apology officer.
Hello.
And how are your vocal cords?
They exist.
They exist.
I'm not too bad.
So I mean, you're going to wake up tomorrow morning sounding a bit like Dot Cotton's been gargling, gravel and fags and.
Oh yeah, but something like that. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, your work colleagues won't know what's hit him. And We have Amelia with us this evening.
Good evening.
Also known as our resident lady of leisure, other than Flossy, who's the other. Actually, both ladies are ladies of leisure these days. But you're not really a lady of leisure. You're contract scum like me, aren't you now?
Yes, technically.
Yes. A gun for hire. A mercenary.
Yes. Although I will be. Actually, you know what? Do you mind if I plug my thing?
I do. Please plug away. I mean, we need more plugs on this deck. It's got.
I'm going to be streaming.
Whoop, whoop.
Yay. My channel is already reserved the name. I haven't set it up yet because I'll be starting to get equipment. I'm going to start buying equipment next week. So.
And what are you going to be streaming?
Oh, wow. Okay. So gaming, book reviews, RPGs, hopefully some live RPG playing as well.
Right. Well, having played some RPGs with you during lockdown times as well, trust me, they're going to be good fun. And whatever you do, don't touch the strange artifact.
Yes.
You
should never touch the strange artifact. Well,
do not lick the strange artifact.
It could be fun. I still have all the quotes in notes from.
Oh my goodness! Yeah.
When I used to post the quotes from the previous night's gaming up on Facebook.
Oh yeah. I remember reading some of those and going, "What?"
You had to have been there. Those were actual quotes. You had to have been there. We may have been drinking at some point during the session as well.
Said that.
I do miss doing those actually, so I might have to tune in just so I sort of get back into that RPG kind of vibe. And talking of RPGs, by the way, a complete tangent now.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, my channel will be called Tales from the Rift.
Tales from the Rift. I know. Are you going to be rifting while streaming, or are you going to be putting your eyeballs on a screen?
I'm going to be doing all kinds of things on that channel. So.
Are you gonna? Oh, so you might be streaming games while in VR and. See if you can stand on your head and make the picture upside down for the Australians.
I know that one of the primary things is going to be RPGs and gaming.
And when are you thinking of doing the streaming? Impromptu or on a particular day?
I'm going to start getting in all of the equipment as of probably next week. I'm going to start buying in all the equipment and setting everything up. And then I'm going through a crash course with Lithobreaker and how everything works. And hopefully I'll be able to host the Hutton show as well on Thursdays if I can figure out.
Obviously that means you can train up as an extra tech.
Yeah, an extra tech, extra tech.
Ooh. When you say crash course, you do know I'm just going to teach you how to crash things, yeah?
Well,
yes,
absolutely.
It's going to be so fun.
You just sort of go to your deck like I'm doing here, and I don't know, I've just got random buttons, and you can...
I'm trying very hard to be impressed. It's rather difficult with so little to work with, but I keep hoping.
And that's what Eli has to say on the subject. You have buttons that do that kind of thing, or maybe that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
To answer Happy Moon Monkey's question, the channel is called Tales from the Rift, and I will have a link for you next week.
We'll share links, and obviously we will as Hutton shamelessly promote it on our various channels as well, as we do with anybody who is streaming from the Hutton community. Obviously, the Hutton Facebook page tends to be, well, if you're doing Hutton-y related things and elite related things, but I'm sure you will be ish. But if you're streaming, putting content out, writing stuff, whatever else, please always do let us know, because as you know, Flossy just now did broadcast about a live event that was going on with Retired Navy IT1 and the Fish.
Oh, yes, yeah.
So please do tell us about what you're up to. There is actually in our Discord channel, and I'm just going to make sure there is, a shameless channel for promoting yourself. It's called Promote-Yourself.
Oh, it's a fancy name.
Absolutely.
It's very apt.
Yeah, so you can put anything about your own streams and what you're up to and whatever else in Promote-Yourself on the Discord channel.
Suddenly makes a lot of sense. Has Hanky been hanging around in there? Is that how he's made it to Emperor?
No idea.
Who gave him that title?
Hanky.
He did.
He did.
King Hanky.
He promoted himself.
He did, in game become an imperial king, which is a rank,
Kingy.
obviously, with the Empire. Yeah, and then decided when he got to Colonia that he was going to be Empire.
Well, this week's tenuous link to the hanky is obviously Hanky's favourite thing to do, apart from jumping carriers backwards and forwards from Colonia, is to play the ancient game of chess. Now, unfortunately, my son this week has had a chess-related injury. I hadn't realised that chess was a contact sport, though apparently while playing chess at break time, he managed to get taken down by a 2-footed tackle and broke his ankle.
Yeah, that's it.
And I'm not joking, yes. The previous week, he ended up with concussion after taking a ball to the head during a game of chess and had to go home with concussion. So last week was concussion and this week was a broken ankle, both while supposedly playing chess at break time.
Yeah, well, he is related to you, so that's entirely possible.
I think they must be playing by a slightly more modern set of rules than I used to.
Well, yes. Or maybe he's playing chess. I mean, this is you know that where they do the chess boxing where you sort of move a piece and then beat each other up for a few minutes and then move a piece. Isn't there a chess boxing thing, or did I dream that?
No, that's a real thing.
That's a real thing.
Contact chess.
I work with a guy who plays underwater chess, which is quite literally played in the bottom of a swimming pool. And the timer is basically that you have to swim down, make your move in one breath, and swim back up.
Little magnetic chess pieces or something, so they don't drift or float off. You imagine those cheap balsa wood ones you used to get in the wooden boxes. Yes, castling's a bit different when it's sort of floated out towards the filter at the far end of the pool. So anyway, so we've had to rescue son this week, who now has a broken ankle and is hopping around on crutches. I will be having a word to him about his variety of chess and as to whether it's entirely safe. Battle chess. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, I do. I remember it well.
I've actually got it on the Steam Deck. I'm getting real retro vibes playing battle chess on the Steam Deck. Very violent. But anyway, going back to the RPG thing, Amelia. I have heard that the RPGing has once again dipped its toe this week into the realm of the silver screen.
Has it? You mean AD&D?
There appears to be a D&D movie out this week, and it appears not to be pants. Well, it might be pants, but
the first one was very pants.
Oh my goodness, the first one was so pants. But yeah, so for those of you,
this one actually looks good.
It does. I mean, albeit they've got a great trailer and a great soundtrack and
good actors.
A Mimic.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just going through the list of things: Mimic, and there's an owlbear, and there's a gelatinous cube, and there's so yeah. If you're into your D&D, it seems to be fan service central, which is all right. We just need them to make a Traveller one, or maybe an EDRPG movie,
or just an Elite movie.
Yeah, well, maybe that's the next thing for Spider-Man Games to do is an EDRPG movie. Starring one of the Chris's. They've used Chris Pine up, so maybe they have to use a different Chris on this one.
Yeah.
Chris Hanky.
Chris Hanky, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, in the lead role. Yep. Anyway, this whole conversation has rambled. Was there a Frontier live stream, excuse me, this week?
Yeah, no.
There was last week?
No, there was not. There was one last week.
Right, and that was the Sally and Bruce show, wasn't it?
That was the one.
Last week.
Featuring Bruce and Sally.
Featuring Bruce and Sally. But they've had a little bit of news. They did a bit of news during that one and sort of subsequently clarified the news a little bit so that there is an dun-dun-dun update coming. 15? 16? I don't know. Which you probably mentioned last week. But then I noticed that Arf has been putting tweets up on the Tweety thing of spooky-looking videos and Emperor Palpatine laughing evilly. I think he does this every release, doesn't he? The Emperor Palpatine pictures every time he mentions updates.
I don't know.
But I think the video that I saw was, it's sort of, here's some stars, here's a planet, pan across, there's a maelstrom, spooky-looking music, and cut. So we're hoping...
Ooh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, we're sort of hoping that now that we've worked out how to kick Tharg's ass using a box of tissues, which, by the way, everything in that news article is fact. This team, the German team there from, I can't remember the name, but anyway, they decided to go to the Oya Maelstrom and use a box of tissues up on Tharg and realised that they used a box of tissues up and there are no alerts anymore from the Oya Maelstrom. So they managed to stop.
When you're talking about a box of tissues, what are you actually talking about?
Well, they just said tissues are the way
Thargoid
forwards.
tissues.
Yeah.
You go to a Thargoid,
I mean,
you collect tissues, you hand them in at the rescue ships, and it moves on the little chevron.
Would you like me to go verbatim to what they've actually been doing? Would that help people?
I get the idea. Tissue samples.
Well, they do. They've actually published their
samples of tissues.
They've published their tactics as well. So what they've said is the German squadron SNPX Stellar Nebula project has been fighting at Maelstrom, Oya since the beginning of the war, using a hunters and gatherers tactic. There's ship builds, fine, don't worry about it. Tactics. Number one, hunting Orthrus, which, as we know, has proven to be a bit rubbish. But if you are going to do it, they do it. They're looking for NHSS force sources. If one is found, the source approached by the finder. This is part of a team. The wing is formed. All the pilots switch onto the finder and activate the nav lock. They drop in. The Orthrus is destroyed by the wing. The finder then leaves completely, while everybody else jumps out into supercruise, and then the finder hops back in, does a quick UE, and finds the Orthrus lurking again, and rinse and repeat. So they've managed to work out a way between them of being a bit sneaky, should we say? But their other version is the provoking hyperdictions version.
All right, and then you do the same thing when they hyperdict you?
Yeah, well, no, what they do is they run around going, no, until they get a hyperdiction. And then they start sampling it. And they have said, using their approach, including healing each other, taking care of shields, etc., they sampled an interceptor for 30 to 40 minutes and obtained a total of more than 200 tissue samples from one Thargoid. I can't imagine there'd be much Thargoid left after that.
I was thinking exactly the same thing. There couldn't be much left of that.
Yeah, there was a discussion about whether you actually have to hand the tissues in or you just mopping up is enough. Apparently both do something. So taking the tissue does lots and then handing it in does lots as well.
Of different things.
But when they're sold, the samples obtained count for the system in which they were farmed.
Right.
So it obviously tags the tissues as this came from Thargoid in whatever the system is.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and they reckon 20 to 25 interceptor samples bring a chevron 2% in the display of the system progress. So that one Thargoid with 200 tissue samples was about 20% in 30 minutes of a system progress. So they're doing a cracking job, and this is all with tissues. So, yeah, everything you heard in the news was absolutely true. So, yeah, anyway, this was rambling again. But the whole point was, now that we've found how to stop the alerts from one whole maelstrom, I'm expecting, the team and everybody else to start stopping all the other maelstroms, which coincidentally seems to coincide with the next release and update, which could well be Thargoids doing something new. Or possibly the fight back, or possibly getting further into the maelstrom. Now, has anybody else been following? I think Alec Turner was doing a whole news piece on exploring the maelstrom out on the forums as well, and a regular release of information about his adventure into the maelstrom. Has anybody managed to get any further than boom, oops, I've been kicked out, that we know of?
Not that I've heard, but I could be out of date.
No, I mean, I've not heard anything. We might have to rely on the Galnet News Digest later to find out a little bit more. I mean, Peter seems to have his finger on the pulse of what's happening out there. I was just trying to find the article from... If you look on the forums, there is one by Alec Turner. Shall I look at Alec's Best of the Forum post to see if he's got his own post in the Best of the Forum post? No, he hasn't. There we go. But that's not very good, Alec. We'll have to get him to do that. But there was... there was something he was doing about exploring it, and I think he came to the conclusion you can wander around, you can sample things, you can see farty mines, and then the boom goes off and you get kicked out still. The caustic things, I think he's been trying to use the caustic things to stop the damage, which means he can hang around in there a little bit longer with these caustic heat sinks. But apart from that, yeah, no one's got any further. We had one wing the other night do 3 Orthrus in 35 minutes. Each Orthrus counts for 4%. Well done, Azraphale, Hackswing, Sub-Commander Azraphale. Okay, Space News. Apology Officer.
Space News.
Space News. Do we have any this week?
A little bit.
Do we?
Yeah.
Oh.
We need a little jingle for,
Oh, what is it? What is it probably?
Space News.
I mean, let's have a look. I might have.
I take it Trappist 1B is. It says not great news, so I'm thinking it's not an Earth-like.
Well, they finally got some data published from the James Webb Space Telescope. That big, expensive piece of origami we sent out to the Lagrange point.
Oh, yeah.
And it's at some point in the past, it has imaged Trappist 1B, which, unlike the Elite Dangerous nomenclature for planetary systems, 1B is the first planet rather than another star. And it's Earth-sized, and it's in the habitable zone, so they were hopeful. But it's got no atmosphere.
Wow.
And that's probably the best of the news for life-bearing conditions.
It's a bit like Hutton Orbital then.
Yeah.
The long way away hasn't got much of an atmosphere.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's a bit
loves a party with a happy atmosphere,
And at that, I think it's a bit like Cubicle 3 or the corridor just outside it. It's not a good place. So,
listen,
not great news there.
There's plenty of atmosphere in there. It's not breathable, but there's atmosphere, all right.
Yeah. Closer to home, Russia may no longer have a space launch site.
No.
No.
It what?
Why not?
The Baikonur Cosmodrome, famously their primary launch site, the one that they basically launch everything from, isn't actually in Russia. It's in Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
And a couple of days ago, the Kazakhstani forces seized control of it.
Okay.
They're not letting any Roscosmos people out of the country. They're not letting Roscosmos liquidate any of its assets. They are holding it. Okay. They seem to be doing it because they're a little bit upset about the way Russia's treated Ukraine over something or other.
Now, this has implications because, of course, doesn't Russia operate the Apex taxi?
Yes,
at the moment
does.
from the one of the Apex taxis and the escape pod from the
but they
ISS.
weren't letting anybody else on it anyway, were they?
Yeah, but they also operate the haulers that deliver the food and carry away the let's go with used tissues. So,
bio waste.
Yeah, so now is it the only one remaining then is or those ones that go up on Musk's rockets? I think
that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I suppose at least they've got a plan B.
But the Boeing one is due to launch its first crewed mission. The one that went up last April, real soon now.
Is this the BFR?
No, the Boeing. It's not,
the one that went splosh.
Sorry, when you said crewed mission, I heard crude mission. I just had a vision of a rocket going up with bollocks written down the side.
No, they're the Blue Origin ones that look like that.
Yeah, they look like giant.
They're pretty crude.
It's like the start of an Austin Powers movie when they go up.
Yeah, the Boeing commercial crew mission, the one that was apparently going to go slightly ahead of the SpaceX ones a year or so ago.
Oh, right.
SpaceX has now delivered 3 crews, one every 6 months, and Boeing are still getting ready for their second uncrewed test before they can do their actual live crewed mission.
Is that Boeing or boing?
It's pretty much that was the sound that was heard when they got the results back from the first uncrewed test mission, which was meant to be a complete success and burnt down, fell over, and sank into the swamp.
Yes, went splosh. Yeah.
Yes.
Other than that, no news yet from Spaceport Cornwall about whether they're resurrecting any of these other flights where they fire it off a Virgin.
No, apparently they're running short of Virgins.
Yep. And then there's been a big fuss recently about all the AI chat stuff out there. I know, Commander Wotherspoon, being ahead of the curve a couple of months ago, decided to do an entire Galnet News Digest about the show that had just happened, as written by AI. Mm-hmm. And apparently it's now being listed as a risk to humanity. Well, no shit. We've all seen Terminator,
Yeah, I think, to be honest, though, that it's only a risk to humanity if people start believing it as if it was posting on Facebook.
Well, we did have we gave the AI a few subjects in our own team chat. Just this week. We did ask it some rather controversial things, which we are not going to broadcast. But there were things like we asked it how fast the fastest run to Hutton Orbital was, and it says it was achieved in 2017 in 16 minutes, which I think is probably a fib. Apology, officer, you have the numbers. There's the fast run that was done by one of our very own commanders by getting hyperdicted or something was only recently, I think.
Yeah, that was about 52 minutes or something. That was Vulcarius.
Yeah, 16 minutes. So if you ask one of the AI things what the fastest run is, we asked it how many Hutton runs they have been, and I'm pretty sure it said millions this week.
Which thousands means this week, it said.
Oh, thousands this week. So you've got a long list.
That'll be why Hutton Helper's broken this week.
Here we go. So it was Dead Meat GF asked it.
Short face.
Asked it, how many ships flew to Hutton Orbital in the last week, and it says there's no way to know for sure how many ships flew to Hutton Orbital last week. The game, real life, does not track this information. However, based on the number of players who've reported visiting, it's estimated that thousands flew. I'm pretty sure, actually, if you go to the station, it says how many ships were in the system this week, and it's not thousands. It's measured in tens. Yeah, and then we had. We asked it, what does "for the mug" mean? And it says, "For the mug" is a phrase used by the Hutton Orbital truckers. Well, that bit's correct. A player group in the video game Elite Dangerous. Well, it's real life, but we'll let him off. The group's known for the long journey to Hutton Orbital, which is the most distant station in the game. Well, it's got that bit right. The phrase is used to express their commitment to the journey and their pride in owning a Hutton mug. Well, there's a bit of a technicality there, because an awful lot of people who shout for the mug haven't got one yet. They're trying to earn one by doing the too hot, too messy. Apparently, it's also being used by other groups and players to express their commitment to the game and their pride in their achievements. I think that bit's true. Mm-hmm. Judging by the number of people that yell mug back when you yell mug on a busy train station. Or either that, or they call you a mug.
Right there.
Yeah, they'd be absolutely right.
Same difference.
There were other questions, and I can't... no, here we go. It was asked, did you know that Commander Flossy never engages in ship-to-ship combat? And the AI says, I did not know that. I find it interesting that Commander Flossy never engages in ship-to-ship combat, as she's a very skilled pilot. Exactly. Flossy's just lost a glass of Centauri Megagene through her nose. Perhaps she refers to a focus on other aspects, such as exploration or trade, or perhaps she simply finds combat to be too risky. Whatever the reason, I'm sure she's a valuable asset to the Pilots Federation.
Oh, isn't that sweet?
Do you know what? I think it's also been convinced that Flossy's a legend.
It does get some things completely and utterly wrong, though. I mean, I asked it which was better, Lave Radio or Hutton Orbital Radio.
Oh, well, Hutton Orbital, obviously.
Well, it said that Lave Radio had a more polished show than we do.
Pardon? What? Hang on a sec, Flossy, where's the pan? Get the pan.
Actually, no. If they're talking about polish and professionalism, they probably do.
Well, yeah, but I mean, even though arguably maybe they're more professional than us, it's still a pretty low bar.
Yeah, and we're more.
Ow.
Than they are.
And Litho, the other one was a random one that you came up with. We're going to be moving on to the word of the week this week in a second, but you said you had found your favourite helpful parenthetical note.
Oh, yes, I did, didn't I? See if I can find it. I'll need to scroll back in the chat.
What were you looking for when you came up with this word? I mean, it's Old English.
I'd gone down a rabbit hole. I was chatting with a friend in France, co-worker in France, who gets confused between Tuesday and Thursday because the two words are very, very similar in English. So that's understandable. And I was just idly glancing at the origins of the names of the days of the week. And good grief, we posted a lot of crap in this chat today.
Well, I'm guessing Thursday, looking at the...
It is Thursday that was the reference for.
And it's... The explanation came back Old English and then some hieroglyphs and then pronounced and some more hieroglyphs.
Some more hieroglyphs, yeah.
Which, if you plummet into one of these sort of phonetic readers...
Yes, it was Old English and then Thorn, U with a bar across, NRESDAEG, brackets, pronounced... what looks like theta U colon NREZDAEJ. Yeah, really
which made
helps. Much clearer.
Which I think translates as Thunresday.
Yes, it's apparently it comes from Thunder's Day, roughly.
Yes.
The day of thunder.
It's one of these circular dictionary references where the dictionary refers you to other words that then refer you back to the original word for the meaning.
That's
which
the one,
is,
yeah.
they're all confusing.
Mm-hmm. But either way, the fact that Tuesday and Thursday sound very similar in English is entirely the fault of the Germans, because both of them come from the old Germanic.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Yeah. Or it's very Scandinavian. Anyway, before we move to this week's actual word of the week then, do we have, Flossy, a winner-winner steak dinner this evening?
We certainly do. This week's mug winner is Steve King.
Woohoo!
Oh,
hey, congratulations, Steve.
Yeah, I can put it up next to his copies.
Finally, the randomizer has picked...
And It and all those things.
Awesome books.
Yep, and the Shawshank.
Pet Cemetery.
Yep.
The Green Mile. Yep.
But yes, Steve King, the horror that is Steve King, has won a Hutton mug. Luckily, it's one of those names we can actually pronounce this week. So if anybody knows Commander Steve King, no space, capital K, then please do let Steve King know that they need to... How do they claim their Hutton mug?
Well, what they can do is they can email itookpart@huttonorbital.com with the commander details and their address and a contact telephone number for shipping updates. But more importantly, what we really need from them straight off is something...
Credit card number?
Yeah, if they want.
Inside leg measurement, hat size...
No, outside leg measurement, inside leg measurement's very passé. What we really need from them is a picture that confirms that they are who they are. So a screenshot from inside your cockpit showing your commander name is the best way of doing it.
Not a selfie.
Not a selfie.
Inside your leg.
No. We do need the bit that shows your commander name.
If you do want to send us an inside leg measurement, go to Eddie Lee Wise and Sons plus his daughters, because I believe his husband Ken is an expert at inside
Cough,
leg.
Please, sir. Yes.
Yes, cough, please.
Plus my sons and my daughters.
Very good at the outside legs.
Yeah. Can we go on to word of the week, because this week's word of the week is a belter.
Okay.
Word of the week is Calsaricanet. Calsaricanet.
Calsaricanet.
Could you use it in a sentence, please?
It's a Finnish word. I'll explain what it means first, and then I'll use it in a sentence. It's the feeling when you're going to get drunk, home alone, in your underwear with no intention of going out. And if I use it in a sentence, that would be, on a Thursday night, I'd just stick on Hutton Radio and have some Calsaricanet time.
Calsaricanet.
Calsaricanet.
Yeah, I'm just looking it up. It's the literal translation is pants drunk.
Pants drunk, yes.
I was totally pants drunk.
Yes, it's just a belter.
Apparently, to a large extent, it is considered a way of life in Finland.
Yeah.
Possibly related to the stereotype lack of social contacts amongst Finns. Oh, you can come and socially contact via the green room later if you'd like and speak to us Finns, if there are any Finns here.
Yeah, and tell us about Calsaricanet.
Apparently, it rose to the fore as a result of the forced isolation of people in their own homes caused by the global COVID-19 pandemic, which created a global trend for this drinking habit.
Drunk in your pants.
I've learned something new tonight. I never realised I was Finnish.
Yeah,
Yes.
there we go. Books guiding to the right method and philosophy for pants drunking have also been written. The most notable being Pants Drunk, The Finnish Path to Relaxation, brackets drinking at home, comma, alone, comma, in your underwear, written by Miska Rantanen and published in 2018.
That's been brilliant.
What an epic word that is.
Pre-pandemic.
Yes.
Well, funnily enough, I am wearing pants and I am having a drink this evening, but not just that. For those of you watching the webcam at the moment, I am fully dressed.
That makes a change.
Well, yeah, just about. It's a bit warm in here. Anyway, I suppose now, Flossy, have you got something coming up in a second for the CG news? Okay, I suppose.
But first,
oh yeah,
good. But first, before the CG news, what do you get an anteater for their birthday?
I don't know. What do
Gift
you get an
vouchers?
anteater for their birthday?
Ants?
Nothing. Just send them a cardvark. Aardvark!
Aardvark!
and on that note, it's time for this theme tune.
It's Flossy. It's Flossy. It's Flossy. It's Flossy. And the community goes.
Hello, Floss here with this week's CG News. There's no CGs at all this week in the live game, and there wasn't any last week. But there is a repeating CG apparently happening in Legacy. Authorities in HIP 21165 have reported large numbers of Thargoid ships entering the system. The Thargoid presence has thrown the region into chaos. To counter this threat, Marquis Dumas has placed a kill order on all Thargoid ships in HIP 21165 to eliminate the threat. The faction has promised to reward pilots who hand in Pilots Federation combat bonds at Hutton Orbital in the Kamei system. The campaign will run until the Thargoids have been pushed back. And that's it for this week's CG News.
Flossy told you what to do.
Dead, totally dead, completely abandoned, nothing happening in Legacy. My foot.
Yeah. It's all happening there.
Well, the biggest one I saw is people complaining, but they said Legacy was dead, this is rubbish. I was like, oh my goodness. You can't, win for winning, if you know what I mean. But thank you very much, the Pilots Federation. And yes, there are Thargoids in... all the other complaint I saw is, well, fine, if Thargoids are turning up in Legacy, I'm going to quit. Great.
Bye.
Okay. You really can't win. But no, as I understand it in Legacy, obviously the Maelstroms aren't there and all the big Thargoidy stuff isn't happening in Legacy. But you can still find Thargoids if you're interested in AX combat, and you can still buy some of the old school, Thargoid weaponry, anti-Thargoid weaponry, that kind of thing. Over in Legacy. So, it is still perfectly possible to take part and do your bit smashing the evil space flowers, or not, as the case may be. And it said something when I looked at it, about 206 weeks left to run.
I think this is the second one that's done. The beginning of the week started. And I think it's just repeating CGs, just... So
oh yeah. But it gives people, something to focus on and somewhere to, be together and
really.
meet other
Just
pilots.
Don't hold your breath for the reward.
Well, I think because it is broken down into small CGs, as far as I can tell. This I think is the second one. There was one in a different area last week. I don't know much about it. I don't go into Legacy, but it's only what I've read on the forums, etc.
Hang on a second. I'm just glancing at our chat channel as well. I thought he was in a different radio studio.
He is. He says he's not here. He's an AI.
He's an AI. Oh, right. Okay. He's one of these chat GPT. He's a chat chicks.
No, it's artificial idiot, I think.
Oh, right, okay. Anyway, good evening, Commander Chicks. He's snuck in.
How on earth is it 9:45 and you're all still talking? You should be in the green room
Because
by
it's
now.
9:45 and we're talking.
Yeah, well, I've been watching the green room. There's only Valkyrius and
Because
Kisnik in
Fancy
there.
on
Yes. Yeah, well.
You clearly forgot who's the tech monkey tonight.
You've been pressing
We
the wrong
started
buttons
late.
again.
We started late, Commander Chicks. Yes,
Very
right.
late.
Green room. I can see we've got Valkyrius and Kisnik in there at the moment, so we're going to get them to come and join us in a minute. We've got 2 things to do before that, other than say to Chicks, how was your radio show?
3 things to do before that.
Among the many things.
There are many,
Well,
many things.
If I can turn on, it was very funny, I must say.
Yeah, right.
And I didn't get a credit because they say the announce at the end this week's script was written by blah 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 with contributions from blah 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 blah, and even a bit of my stuff made it into the script.
Ooh. Well, a bit
at the
like
beginning,
this show.
It's been desperate.
Well, at the beginning, they give a slip of paper to the audience, and as you go into the sort of room where they corral you and serve you bad sandwiches before you go and see the show, they give you a piece of paper with a question on it. And this week's question was, what's the worst thing you've ever eaten?
Well, that's one for
I'm not
Amelia,
gonna
given that
answer
Amelia's eaten everything in the galaxy at least
I
once.
refuse to answer in case I incriminate myself.
Or anybody else.
You've not tried my cooking, have you, Chicks?
So I said some liver and fava beans, but the Chianti kind of took the edge off it. Anyway, it made it into... We'll have to see tomorrow if it makes it into the show. Tune in to Radio 4 at 6:30.
Absolutely. Right, well, on that note, so something that's been digested is also the Galnet news. So I suppose we ought to see whether this has been queued up properly and my stream deck is actually working. So enjoy a little bit of this from them.
Shojin I believes that although Caleb Wycherley was killed by Thargoids, Salvation lives on as a disembodied consciousness, and that Azimuth Biotech is fully aware that their leader is not dead. The former test subject D2 departed on a mission to find out about Salvation in early January, and was rescued by the Fargod cult megaship Testament 2 weeks ago, after being chased by unidentified assailants. The cult reveres Xiao because of her ability to communicate with Thargoids, and they fulfilled her wish to be returned to Aegis. Their megaship has now departed once more, as the cult members are not welcome in Federal space. During this mission, Xiao claims to have discovered plans for a machine, reverse-engineered from Guardian technology, that could store Salvation's consciousness. She fully accepts that Dr. Wycherley died in HIP 22460 just after the Proteus wave was fired back in August last year, but she's convinced that he lives on in this Guardian machine, which the documents call the Nemesis failsafe. This device, if it exists, would store Salvation's memories, personality, and motivations. Salvation, who was at least 250 years old, previously expressed his determination to see the Thargoids exterminated, and Xiao believes that the Nemesis failsafe will allow him to continue to direct Azimuth in its genocidal mission. Admiral Tanner, who's an independent consultant working for Aegis, accepted that the plans for the Nemesis failsafe seemed genuine and horrendously complex. But in the absence of any evidence that the device had ever been constructed, he remained sceptical about Salvation's continued disembodied existence. Tanner was more concerned about Xiao's assailants, emphasising how close Xiao came to being captured and reminding his audience that any interference with the work of Aegis is a crime against the Federation, the Empire and the Alliance. Aegis continues to work to research the Thargoid maelstroms. The caustic sink launchers have proved extremely effective at protecting ships venturing into the toxic cloud, and Aegis is now working to understand the repulsing wave that prevents ships from getting to the heart of the maelstroms. If they can develop a countermeasure to that wave, then we might finally be able to confront whatever lies at the heart of each maelstrom. Possibly some kind of command centre or spawning mechanism for Thargoid ships, perhaps the fabled hive ships. The battle to prevent Thargoid expansion through human-inhabited space is being lost, and getting to the heart of the maelstroms may turn out to be our only effective defence against the invasion.
Imagine, if you would, a galaxy just like our own, but with some important differences. In this galaxy, Salvation did evil things, just like he did in ours, but unlike our galaxy, in this parallel imaginary galaxy, the Thargoids did not respond by invading the bubble. HIP 22460 is still a nest of angry Thargoids, and the Kingfisher Peace megaship was inexplicably destroyed. But elsewhere, the Thargoids are gentle and non-threatening, available if you want to do a bit of target practice, but definitely not planning to burn down Auntie Mabel's house and reduce the bubble to a smouldering greasy smudge. It's a galaxy where Pomesh 2C still has unrealistically high canyon walls, and where the majority of fleet carriers never jump to other systems. It's a galaxy where very little ever changes. A galaxy frozen in time. A galaxy where commanders wear top hats and tailcoats and use monocles and fountain pens. Their flight control systems are abacuses. It's a galaxy in stasis. And yet, in this strange static galaxy, the galaxy where there is never any news, the galaxy where nothing happens, this week, a stray community goal has popped up out of nowhere. Now, as there's no news in this parallel galaxy, and as there's no Commander Flossy, as she's way too busy in this galaxy soloing Hydras in her Sidewinder, the Parallel Galaxy edition of Galnet News Digest brings you this week's Community Goals. It's Galnet! It's Galnet! It's Galnet! It's Galnet! With a community goal.
Hello, this is Commander Wotherspoon with this half-decade's community goal. Defeat the Thargoid invasion force. Earn rewards by handing in Pilots Federation combat bonds at Compodoc in the HIP 19198 system. Authorities in HIP 19091 have reported large numbers of Thargoid ships entering the system. The Thargoid presence has thrown the region into chaos. To counter this threat, Asylum Company has placed a kill order on all Thargoid ships in HIP 19091 to eliminate the threat. The faction has promised to reward pilots who hand in Pilots Federation combat bonds at Compodoc in the HIP 19198 system. The campaign will run until the Thargoids have been pushed back. To earn rewards, you must sign up as an active participant before handing in Pilots Federation combat bonds at Compodoc in the HIP 19198 system. Please note that if you have any crew members, a proportion of your combat bonds will be automatically assigned to them. These combat bonds will not count towards your personal contribution total, and your crew will receive the reward for these combat bonds when they're handed in. The proportion of combat bonds assigned to your crew will depend on their rank. Be aware that faction state changes and other disruptive events can negatively impact markets and station services and could prevent the initiative from running smoothly. The community goal ends in another 5 years. And that's this week's Parallel Galaxy Community Goal News.
Galnet told you where to go. If you sit down on a certain bench in Hutton Orbital at noon on Midsummer's Day, you can hear the whispers of commanders living in the parallel universe. Perhaps one day they will complete their marathon community goal. Perhaps. We shall never know.
Copyright strike. Definitely a copyright strike on that one. Flossie, I'd have a word with your lawyers if I were you.
Yeah.
Also,
Sneaky
you
rotters.
might
Well,
want to get
actually,
some Strepsils, Flossy. You sounded a bit rough there.
5 years. Well, we'll come back in 5 years and we'll find out, I suppose. You can do the summary of... Remember that one that they did? Oh, no, we'll make them do it, actually. Punishment for them. They've just committed to broadcasting for the next 5 years. So put a date in the diary. Regardless of what's happening, we'll go back online just so we can hear the results of that CG. Last I saw, there were 21 contributors to it.
That's not bad for a
That's
dead
not bad.
version of a
Right.
dead game.
Right, well, we've got two more things. One Dead Quick and one Amelia, and then some Green Room. There's some more people in the Green Room. We have a little Grey and Kisnick, Aidan and Valkarius popping in to say hi in a minute. But before that, we've got this week's exciting Hutton Helper results.
The Hutton Helper results this week are postponed as a result of the hamster strike over paying conditions. That, and it's all broken and on fire and it smells like burnt hair. Okay, that's all. Back to Studio 5!
Thank you, Mia. Now over to Amelia for this week's Galnet Rares Digest.
You are about to listen to Amelia Hawke. She tries all the galaxy's most dangerous rare items, so you don't have to.
Having revisited a number of the galaxy's rare items in recent weeks, and reminded myself exactly why insurance companies refuse to cover the investigations that I undertake each week, I thought it was time to try something new. And in the interests of keeping things at least relatively safe, I've accompanied a team of archaeologists down to Chernovsky City in Naguri. Whilst the rares that I'm reviewing this week aren't from Naguri, the local science division have an exclusive contract to find, retrieve, study, and then to fund their activities and sell these items in small quantities to avid collectors. Well, I say scientists, it's actually Gary's Reclamations, who normally specialise in catalytic converters of unknown origin, and the kinds of deals that involve meeting in dark alleys with briefcases full of cash and a couple of heavies on standby in case things turn nasty. The rare item I'm here to find is called a Soontil relic. First discovered in around 3250 after an encounter by one of Gary's reclamations with what he claims was a Thargoid, followed by a visit by someone claiming to be from the Dark Wheel. Soontil relics have been discovered via carbon dating to be tens of thousands of years old. Definitely not of human origins, and despite rumours that they are related to some form of subculture of Thargoids, do not actually match any Thargoid technology discovered before or since. In order to find out a little more, I'm accompanying an archaeological expedition to a secret location in the Soontil system, accompanied by a few of the team. I've got my obligatory wide-brimmed hat, lots of sun cream, some tough trousers, I don't mind getting dusty, and a set of small brushes and a dustpan. I saw that on a TV show once. I'm expecting to be grubbing around in the dirt for a bit, sweeping things until someone with a beard says, "Stop!" and saying things like, "Fascinating." Oddly enough, the rest of the team I'm with are dressed in leathers and look like they're out to battle some Nazis. One's even carrying a whip and introduced himself as Indy. Arriving at our destination, I've shouldered a backpack and we've set off on a hike to a nearby hill. That's their dig site. On the brow of the hill is a dig team, setting to with pickaxes and shovels. I can see in the distance other mounds that have clearly already been the source of previous artifacts, as they've got tents all over them and trucks trundling back and forth carrying, something. As I scale to the top of the mound, they've managed to find and open an ancient slab covered in what can only be described as hieroglyphs. Hang on, I've got a question. Excuse me? Do we actually know what these say? No? Not like keep out or else? Or treasure hoard? Nothing useful like that? Oh. Okay. Okay, well, no one has been able to translate the symbols etched here. What do we think is in this hill? What? Relics. That's all he says. I could have told him that. They're all dusty. That's just the guy over there with a pickaxe. They've lit a couple of flaming torches and dropped them into a hole. Apparently, there's something about these mounds that prevents technology from working properly, so flaming torches it is. And they're lowering me down. Inside this hill, it's huge. And despite the dust of tens of thousands of years and some form of chemical erosion, I can see what appears to be more symbols on the walls. Okay, we're heading down a narrow corridor. Excuse me, look, I don't mean to be a pain, but there are holes in the walls on these sides, and I'm sure some of those cobbles look like they'd move if you stepped on them. I mean, you have watched the movies, haven't you? Oh, okay. He says the booby traps have all been triggered, and that's what the trucks were for. Apparently they're going to the morgue. Well, nothing ventured, nothing gained. I'm treading really carefully down this corridor, and at the end of it, well, okay, I'm getting a vibe. That there's a pool of light, what appears to be an altar, and on that altar, well, he's right, it's a relic. It looks old, it's about the shape and size of a book, and yes, it's covered in markings. I'm just going to turn it over and look on the other side. What's that? Don't move it. Oh, bother. Okay, there's a rumbling noise. Part of the ceiling has opened and... Holy crap, that's a really big boulder. I'm just going to stay right here. Oh, run, man. It's going to squash you. Oh no. Well, he's not getting up again after that one. Someone get the trucks to come over. Bring a shovel. Okay, well, now that's out of the way, let's take a look at one of these soon-till relics and see what I can make out of the markings. Oh my. That's just rude. What's that stick figure doing to that other stick figure? Oh, and look, on that line there are 5 of them at it. This is, for want of a better word, filth. I mean, that first line looks vaguely familiar, but the second line, I mean, you'd need more limbs and a back that bent the wrong way to even attempt those positions. As for what that alien's doing with its thorax in the last section, that's just kinky. This is Amelia Hawke reporting for the Galnet Rares Digest, and I've just discovered that ancient aliens wrote sex manuals that would make your hair curl. And trust me, the real danger here isn't the booby traps and rolling boulders. It's the bill you'd get from your chiropractor after trying even just one of these diagrams.
There are some constants in the galaxy, aren't there? Somebody wants to draw pictures of rude things, you know?
Yep.
Let that meat in there.
Tens of thousands of years old, and what did they put in the middle of that building? Naughty pictures.
Naughty pictures.
Yep. I mean, it's supposedly
and big balls.
These Soontil relics are. I mean, there was something about the Dark Wheel. There was something about Thargoids, and it sort of went nowhere. Or a different sect of Thargoids. Anyway, all we know it's the naughty sect.
Well, it's life, isn't it?
Maybe Soontil is a bit like the LHS 340 of the Thargoid world. The naughty step.
But it's just life.
Yes.
One fucking thing after another.
Oh dear. Yes. But or one thing. If you Yoda that sentence around a bit, you know.
Well, it was the verb, not the adjective.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you very much, Amelia. I mean, the traps sound deadly. I'm glad they seem to be throwing people in the way of them all, and you didn't get caught by the spikes or the pit or the collapsing
really
ceiling or the snakes. They did warn you about the snakes, didn't they?
Snakes?
Snakes?
I hate snakes. That's just my pet snake, Reggie. Isn't that the line? Oh, anyway. But, thank you very much for exposing yourself to all that danger as well. It begs a question, though. You know, these Soontil relics do mention that they're related to Thargoids. Have we tried anything to do with Soontil relics? Maybe feeding one to a Thargoid? There's a question. Or maybe they'll just be too busy reading it and trying to work out how they can do that without, dislocating their abdomen.
If you do show them one of them, you're not standing too close at the time.
Yes.
Just in case.
Or there are Thargoids of the appropriate alternate or similar gender or whatever flavour they want to play with nearby. Just in case. Because you wouldn't want to be part of the amorous attentions of a randy Thargoid, would you? Boggles the mind.
No.
Yeah. Having a swarm probably makes those positions easier. Oh dear, Afro, you're a bad person. Right, talking of bad people, we've got a few people in the green room. Now, we've got a choice. We can either drag them down here to say hi.
Drag them down.
Should we drag them in here? Now, before we drag anybody down here, we need to remind people to sort your audio settings out. Otherwise, we're going to completely deafen you. So I'm going to give the green room listener a second or two to go to their options on their TeamSpeak 3. Just in case, Flossy, anybody wants to sneak in at the end, what's the TeamSpeak server name?
TS at hot.forthemug.
TS dot for the mug.
TS dot forthemug.com.
Absolutely.
Not a website.
Yep. And
not a website.
Not a website. It's a TeamSpeak server address, and you'll find there's a broadcast room, green room feed kind of thing, but we're dragging people out there in a second. For those in the green room, you want to go to your options, and you want to go to the playback tab, which is the third one down, and you want to turn off the automatic voice volume leveling, because if you don't, when we're not speaking, you're going to be completely deafened by the sound of silence, also known as heavy breathing from chicks. So we're going to give you a second to do that one, and then should we grab one each? Who's going to grab which one? I'll grab Little Grey.
I'll grab Vocarious.
There we go.
Oh, no, he's already here.
There we go.
Oh, okay. I won't grab anyone then.
No.
Well, you just poke them when they get here and make them sit down or something, you know. Anyway, I understand there's a magic button that works out as Vocarious can work out who's supposed to speak to who.
It's in the TeamSpeak chat.
Pardon?
It's in the TeamSpeak chat.
It's already been done. Has it got the right number of people? Oh,
that Bing.
Ah. And it's even taken account of chicks actually being back. Okay. Well, we're going to go with that order. So we'll start. Amelia, would you like to say hi to our first guest this evening?
Good evening, Little Grey. How are you?
Hang on, I'm at the bottom of the list.
You're also at the top of the list.
What's the difference between the top and the bottom of the list?
Oh, how long have you got?
That's a very meta question.
You're right there after Lithobreaker.
I don't have to work for Facebook to answer.
No, but it helps.
I also, it turns out, really have no idea how to drive TeamSpeak because I went looking for the option button you suggested. I've got no idea where it lives.
Oh, the tools menu at the top and then options.
It's okay. Have you got blood running out of your ears?
Yes.
No.
Well, everything's fine then.
Oh, that's fine.
Be fine.
Well, just in case, it's at the tools options menu, third tab down, playback.
Playback.
And you under options at the bottom, automatic voice volume leveling. Turn that one off, and it should behave itself a little bit better.
Well, is that actually worth keeping on? That little bit at the end.
Anyway, I'll hand back over to Amelia.
Yes, anyway, how are you, Little Grey?
Very well. I have been getting all very excited about the...
About the what? You cut out there.
Oh no, am I still here?
Yes.
You're still here, but you're you're getting excited about what? What are you getting excited about?
The elite community.
The elite
community meet.
I think we need to turn down sensitivity on your voice detection.
Turn it back into the settings we go. No, I'm just going to leave that on.
I'll just go push to talk.
Yeah, I'll leave it where it was and it'll be fine. Elite community meet.
Yes.
ECM.
ECM. Do we have a date?
Well, we sort of.
Officially.
Unofficially.
2023.
August.
Do we have a place?
We have a place. We have a date.
We unofficially have a place.
So where are we going?
We're going for an ECM.
So he cannot answer the question.
Yeah, I'll not answer. I'm going to not answer
the
the question when the apology officer speaks to me later. How about that? But there is sort of, but we're still awaiting contracts and waiting for their IT department to confirm that they've actually got an internet. We know they do because we had one previously. But I'll go into detail when the apology officer quizzes me later. But yes, squee exciting.
Yes,
so we don't have a place.
We do have a place. Yes.
We do have a place, but it might not be there.
It will be. We just can't say where it is yet.
Yeah, we don't dare, because if we say that, people go off and book hotel rooms and all sorts. And if disaster happens with the contracts, then people will get a lovely holiday at a spa without all the other commanders there. So we're not officially saying.
We have a place, but it's incorporeal.
It's a virtual place at the moment, but it's soon to be a real place.
Virtual's fine.
But I'll do a bit more detail later with warnings and caveats and apologies attached. Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Sorry, I've
Little
stolen
Grey.
your thunder.
Little Grey, you're excited about ECM.
I am, because I went years ago before I had children, and now there are children, but I have been able to go again, which is exciting. And I have plans for how I can contribute.
How you can
for everyone.
How you can what?
Contracharge.
Contribute.
Trees.
So how do you plan on contributing?
Well, this is an important bit about ECM.
No, he's going to bring contraband.
Contraband. Yes.
Nice.
Smuggler.
He's going to bring country music.
Because a little bit of onion head.
Yeah.
Because Little Grey, I mean, you've been to one of these before. Sorry, Amelia, I'm going to cut across you on this one because we're crossing boundaries a tiny bit. But Little Grey, because Little Grey's been to one before, and ECM is different to the other events. Because it's not run by an organizer where you sit back and they do everything for you. ECM's about the community running an event for themselves.
Exactly that.
Yep. You turn up and bring and do, and we all get together and have a laugh. Yeah.
So what are you planning on bringing, Little Grey?
I am doing a couple of different projects alongside of each other. I am planning to get my 3D printer up and running again, and hopefully I'll be able to create some little that will be able to be sold for raising money for the various charities that there are. They might make very good game pieces if I can get my act together. And also I'm working on the same thing that I was working on at the last Elite Community that I completely forgot about because of which is like a USB game control panel. So rather than having to remember which all buttons I put on my keyboard or Hotass or whatever, have them on a nice PCB in front of me with all the names on, so I press all the things.
Nice.
So yeah, hopefully I'll bring that along and people can have a look and see what they think. So we'll go with that, and I will say for the mug because I've talked for plenty long enough.
Did you have that with you at the last ECM?
Sort of. I tried
I think
doing
I
it.
remember seeing it.
It was a little tiny box, and I basically had hit upon a problem where you press button 1 and it does 1, 2, and then you go all the way up to 10, and then 11 did number 1 again.
I vaguely remember seeing it there. So.
That sounds a bit like how we do Hutton Orbital News.
Just for the record,
yeah.
I'm forever going to now pronounce Hotass as Hotass.
It's a hot ass.
Oh, yeah.
This is Hutton, of course you're allowed to.
Wonderful world of being dyslexic, isn't it great?
Well, it should be hot ass. I mean, the O stands for on, not own. So.
Yeah, on or yes. So hot
It's
ass
been
is
hot after me.
Yep. As opposed to their hands on. Anyway, we won't mention that one.
That's a different kind of.
Anyway, Little Grey, for the mug.
For the mug, as I am drinking hot chocolate out of the Hack's Wing mug as we speak.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Your turn, Flossy.
Oh, yes. My turn to see how Aidan's been doing lately. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thanks, Flossy. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine, thank you, too. Yeah, not too bad. So, what have you been doing then?
Not much, really. I mean, I turned up to a Hutton Orbital thing, but largely, no. I was out earlier and I caught people talking about the new D&D movie.
All right.
Drunk and disorderly.
No, that's a separate thing. But no, I just looking at that, and then I was going, oh yes, I saw a Variety article about that, and went, oh, that's interesting. Especially as the screenwriters and directors went, oh yeah, we love emasculating men, and I'm going, okay, well, why did you have? I was looking forward to the movie, and then the people that were running it going, oh yeah, we decided we wanted to actually, emasculate some men, and we had to pull Chris Pine back from some of the bits, and I'm going, great, thanks, lad. I was looking forward to this, and now I'm not.
Well, I don't know whether they're just doing their media bit. I didn't see any of that in the trailers. Well, maybe they're just showing the best bit.
No, this was an actual interview with Variety magazine.
Oh dear, why do they feel the need? Movies should just be movies. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, I saw John Wick Chapter 4 at the weekend, and
oh, you poor thing.
That was actually worth watching.
Oh yes.
Did they get hit by a car in the middle of a fight?
So yeah, I was going, okay, yeah, great. I was looking forward to that, and then I just the considered opinion between me and my mates for the D&D trailer that we saw was, I don't know, meh. It's they've got some nice homages in there, like the gelatinous cube, but
oh well.
Right.
I'm still going to go see it.
I'll wait, I think, is the honest answer.
I'll let you know.
I gotta admit, I think I'm gonna wait on this one. I mean, I'm a massive RPG fan, but D&D is not on the top of my fave RPG list.
Yeah, so I'm gonna wait, I think, is the honest answer, and if other people see it and are going, it's awesome, it's great, it's brilliant, this is absolutely outstanding, then I'll go and see it. But otherwise, I ain't that bothered. And I can see it, I can see it when it gets on streaming or something like that. And
yeah, you'll know it's made it as a movie when they release a game based on it.
Yeah. So
you know it's made it as a movie. Well, actually, no, that sort of thing they do in the run up anyway. But yeah, if they make a tabletop out of it, then yeah, I know it will have made it then.
Important life lesson here: never read the comments. There you go.
Well, if you go to see it, we'll find out then.
But yeah, no, the only film I'm actually looking forward to is Dune Part 2.
All right. I don't know any of these films.
I thought that was a perfume. Anyway.
But yeah,
Oh,
as far
okay.
as
It's very artsy, and they keep true to the books. But I don't know. The original has got a warm place in my heart.
oh, you
Dune.
mean Stinging?
Stinging metal
Yes.
underpants.
Stinging his metal codpiece.
Oh yes.
No, right.
Coming, yeah, he does, he does look very artsy coming out of the steam chamber in his metal codpiece.
I
Right.
don't care what anyone says. The 80s were a brilliant time.
Oh, I'm not knocking it. It's a fun film. It's just, it's in some respects it sets itself up to be mocked.
It was a
Right.
product of its time.
It
Yeah.
was.
Yes.
And of its technology.
Yeah. And of David Lynch and Kyle MacLachlan.
I think the interesting thing about Dune is it's the book they always said was unfilmable.
And David Lynch proved them right.
He did and he didn't. He did the best thing he could with a film
Yeah.
of a reasonable length.
Yeah, I loved the book. I loved the film. There were significant differences.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I liked about the Villeneuve version was they actually got the Thopters right.
Oh, they were brilliant, weren't they?
Yes.
They were excellent.
And to be honest, I wasn't so fussed about everybody cried about the gender swapping of the Liat kinds, and I was going, but to be honest, in the book it doesn't really matter what gender they are, because
Well, I thought in the book he was Charney's father, isn't that right?
something like
Max von Sydow in the...
yeah. But to be honest, it
doesn't matter though.
It's not
child
really,
of.
It doesn't really make that much big of a difference. The key thing about it is that the Liat is well and truly linked into the Fremen, and in both they were. I think the way the Liat went out in the Villeneuve version was better than the David Lynch version, but
Right.
Very,
So-
a very, very quick note on how I ever got into Dune. I was reading The Rats far too young because my sister had a copy, and I was at the library looking for James Herbert books, and I saw Frank Herbert on the shelf right next to it, and I pulled out this enormous book and with a cool picture on the front. Oh, right, I'm taking that out, and here we are. Must have been about 9 at the time. I'm amazed they let me take it.
But yeah, I mean, whilst I'm sure that we could carry on talking about that, there's not really anything, game related that I've been up to recently.
Okay.
So it'll be a for the mug from me.
Okay then, thank you very much, and for the mug.
And now it's the apology officer to quiz the Volcarius.
Ah, okay. Volcarius,
Yo.
what have you been up to? What have you been doing this week? I noticed there's lots of very well projected numbers for Alex Zuno, so I'm assuming you've been busy there, but...
Very, very well projected numbers. I thought it was
yeah.
broken.
Yeah, it is, but I managed to get a look tonight. But it looks like you've got your numbers through. It was 800,800,800.
Right, yeah.
So I'm assuming all of yours get through.
You know, I'd forgot about that. Of course, the elegant solver is still online. I'd completely forgotten.
Yeah.
I'm doing very well though. Oh, and good evening, Hutton Orbital, by the way.
Oh, good evening.
What a month! What a month! By the way, I don't think I could use the entire history of your weekly words every time.
No, I think that would
you.
Be, yeah.
So don't expect me to shoehorn Wamblecropped in because I think there are only so many.
I use Wamblecropped at least 3-4 times a week now. I make a point of using it.
Yeah, but with your diet,
I use it in the real world as well, and people don't know what you're talking about, but they think they should, so they just nod and smile.
I was thinking there are only so many contexts where severe digestive discomfort would be applicable to refer.
Oh, no,
but
there's
with you,
so-
that's clear.
Yeah. So many people with allergies these days, and I've got a wee allergy. Oh, does it give you the wumble cropped? And they're like, the what? The severe digestion. Oh yeah, I'll spend all day in the toilet, and then you go.
But is it womble with an O cropped, or is it wamble cropped?
It's spelt wamble cropped.
Oh, but you say womble. Okay, got it.
I say
So
wamble cropped.
I
yeah.
say it too.
It's kind of easier to say that.
And there's
actually.
not an M at the end. It's cropped.
Yes, I know. I remember.
Yeah.
I thought there was originally, but then when I make you spell them in the chat.
Yes.
Yeah, but all over Imperial News headlines: Aegis disgrace, fail for the Aegis, researcher rages, Aegis Aegis. It's everywhere. So a few weeks ago now, it was actually Commander Iturbio goes on the Elite Forum, posts in Alexandra's Thargoid war thread about how effective the research samples are. So for some background, everyone already knew that the only reliable way to find a Thargoid interceptor at an alert is to use hyperdiction. But yeah, combining that with research instead of killing it, and ultimately a single commander can turn an entire system. So we had only just established this approach, and exactly that was how we took so many systems last time, if you remember there were 25. Meanwhile, some Blatteroon at Aegis, who must have been totally Kalsarakanit, comes out and writes this amphigorical article telling us to fruunce around the signal sources and quank an authors before it latibulates. Thankfully, everyone said, well, what the front flipping frame shift drive is this? Told Aegis to flight assist off, then use research to take 25 last time and 32 this time. So there you go.
Well done.
Got a translation of all that.
All
to
those
be
are
fair-
perfectly valid English words. Apart from the Kalsarakanit, which is Finnish.
Approximately English.
Yeah. Kalsarakanit.
A lot of words I haven't heard of.
You haven't heard of fruunce?
No.
Or latipulate?
No.
Or
Word of the
wumble
week 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks
Yeah.
ago, 8
Oh, I
weeks ago.
can't remember those. They're too obscure.
Make notes.
I don't remember them either.
Make notes. That's like working.
And that was a good one. Oh, that was a good one. Nothing will beat wumble crop for me though.
To be fair to Aegis, a bit fair, I suppose. If you can get a wing together, you can share your signals and amplify those kills. So killing an Orpheus can move the dial a Titinov if you do that.
Yes.
But mainly the point of even looking for Orpheus signals at all is because we actually get a progress bonus for doing a combination of different stuff. Thanks, by the way, to the post-disaster evacuation service for establishing that quite a while back. Yeah, so for
what read phrase that needs, but I couldn't get anywhere.
PDES.
Pedis, yeah, pedis, not penis.
Yeah, you know, but you're. I thought you were allies. I thought you had the whatever it was.
Mode.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, mode. Yeah, I was thinking. I said M, and I was thinking mods, but it was mode.
No, we don't have mods. Definitely not.
Yeah, I couldn't remember the acronym.
Mug ownership deficiency syndrome.
No, not that one. The mode one.
Oh, yeah. Mode, or is it MODE?
I don't. Maybe Atris can clear that one up for you.
Yes.
But yeah, so just no idea. But yeah, so just as an example, so Alexandra was running research in the Jans and Garter system for the last couple of days. I just sat there in Supergrooves in my old Orpheus cutter, where you may remember the video I sent you quite a while back. I just had Elite tabbed out. I wasn't even looking, and just whenever it was convenient, we just shared any nearby Orpheus signals. Don't travel too far to get to them. So I kill the Orpheus. We both get the 30 million, and it chalks up 2 kills for the progress. Then she would just go off for another hyperdiction, and ultimately that moved the system to completion. Like it's something like 3/4 in a couple of days.
Wow.
So you don't need a whole wing to do it, like the description earlier was using.
Yeah.
I think they had 8. But yeah, if you want to go researching solo, it's probably best to help out an existing, partially struggling populated alert rather than starting a new one. Or you can go for an unpopulated alert further away from a maelstrom, which move very quickly. Oh, by the way, Atris 5060 didn't mention it, but we had some a-hole invaders again.
No.
But we defended it though, so I'm very pleased to report that our a-hole is safe.
No more a-holes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I also have another prepared statement with some thanks to give, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Imperial Navy Intervention and Rescue would like to thank Commander Iturbio for demonstrating the research approach originally. Commander Demisarov.
Back up.
I don't even know what that was.
Yeah, it was somebody's zip. Let's not get involved. Carry on.
Commander Demisarov D for an excellent overview of the alert actions. Stellar Nebula Project, of course, for the in-depth research write-up. And everyone else pushing back Maelstrom Haddad in Imperial space. Yes, Oya was not the only Maelstrom dominated this week. Haddad was actually Thargoid negative as well.
Wow.
So we stopped all populated alerts, no new invasions, and there was one populated alert but ignored around the other side of the cloud of systems. But then we also took an unpopulated control system back. And since A-hole was defended as well, that was a net gain.
Cool.
So yeah, we're very pleased with that.
Yeah,
but yeah, thank you all very much for the show. Hail the Empress and for the mug.
For the mug.
And it looks like it's my turn to say good evening to Commander Kesenic.
Hello.
Hello, good evening. How the blazes are you?
I'm not too bad at all.
And what have you been up to? Have you been saving humanity from a terrible probing and a nasty maelstrom? Or have you been doing other?
I was at the beginning, but unfortunately I was feeding them too many chieftains. So I gave up and headed towards Sagay.
Fantastic. And did you take any treats to chuck into Sagay when you got there?
No, but I'm scanning all the bugs and plants and flowers on my way there.
Oh, you're looking for those little sort of blobs on the planet that are worth sort of 20 million, 30 million a pop every time you scan them?
But I mainly find the ones that are worth 1 million.
Oh, right, okay. And are you the first to discover these? Have you found an unoccupied space there?
Oh, yeah, I've got a lot of first discoveries, so that's good.
And are you doing this on good old-fashioned frameshift jumps, or have you taken a carrier out with you?
No, I'm doing this to actually purchase my carrier.
Right. So when you're going to hop by Sajay, do a few days of this, then go by to sort of Colonia somewhere and drop them off at one of the Hutton bases over there?
Well, I dropped them off at a carrier halfway here because I lost my scarab to a lava spout incident, so I had to replace it.
Did you get yeeted into space?
No, I just got set on fire.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, that's going to make a mess of your SRV there. But I'm glad you managed to get out safely and put the flames out.
Well, my commander didn't get out safely. I did die.
Oh, you did? Oh, dear. So it was a full destruction incident that might need an apology in future weeks.
Oh, yes, and a lot of data loss.
Oh, my goodness. How much did you have on you when you lost it?
Approaching 1 billion.
Oh, that's going to sting.
Yes.
That's paper.
You just lost the SRV, though?
I wasn't in the SRV. I was stood at the side of the SRV in the lava spout.
Your ship.
I was trying to take a really good photo and I wasn't concentrating. The lava spout ignited and killed me and blew up the SRV and I ended up in my ship.
So you shouldn't have lost any data then?
I didn't lose the planet scan data, but I lost all the biological.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh,
that was a fifth of a fleet carrier that went down up the water spout. I mean, up the lava spout there.
Yeah. I still got 900 million by the time I got back to the carrier, though, to cash in what I'd got.
Ah, well, it's, I suppose small lessons learned. Don't mess around with lava spouts. I know.
Don't try and take photos.
Yeah, I did the same. I was attempting to take a selfie with one of the water spouts going off behind me for a visual for use for promoting the show. I think some comment on Twitter about this. I think there's a leak in my suit when I stepped backwards onto the spout as it fired, and I could see my house from here. Yes, and one of those, and you sort of look down at the whole field of spouts going off and thinking, is my jetpack going to save me from this one? Luckily, it was only a water spout, so it didn't cook me at the same time.
Oh, it's fun yeeting yourself with spouts. You just don't do it with a lot of data on you.
Yeah, or a lava spout, because they're quite hot.
Yes.
Yeah, next time bring a steak. You know, what Amelia, I think, has tried a few of the some of the various edibles that you could stick on a stick and cook over a lava spout. But the Mokujing Beast Feast or something would be suitable. So, and how long do you plan on staying out in the Sag A area?
Well, I'm about 400 jumps out of Sag A. I'm going to just go there, turn around, come back, spend lots of money, and then blow up Murder Flowers again.
Fantastic, or just have your own little mobile base for doing it, because you'll need a bit of cash to get the extra features. You're going to need a bar, always need a bar. You know, as soon as you get your fleet carrier, you'll need a bar.
First purchase.
Yeah, and possibly reloads, maybe, as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I know. I got one of those. I've got a crazy mad scientist on mine that I can flog more discoveries to as well. So he's done quite well at keeping me in pocket money in the fleet carrier. I must admit, I need to top up the cash in it. I haven't topped up the cash for a while. So oops.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing, I suppose. Is I might park mine out elsewhere and let other people cash in all theirs on mine.
Yeah, I suppose you take a little slice out of every single one. Well, it sounds like good fun, and then just in time for update 15, you might be back to have a look at the Murder Flowers and see how you can help out. It's either going to get better or it's going to get worse. It could be a fight back, or it could be they notice everything Vocarious is up to and double down on the arse kicking.
I think it's more a case of I need to get better.
Yeah, I mean, certainly by the time, if we do manage to get to the heart of the maelstrom, I'm getting the impression there might be something quite cool there. So yeah, you might want to pop back so you can pop in and see that one.
I'll definitely lose a few more ships to whatever it is in there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, these new caustic heat sinks are great, but then you've got to go and earn them, and you last a little bit longer in the maelstrom with those. But as long as you remember to actually fire the darn things.
That's my problem.
Yeah. It's mash all the buttons at once. Well, look, thank you very much for coming to join us this evening, and we look forward to hearing your ongoing exploits of yeeting yourself using hot lava spouts.
No problem, and it's for the mug from me.
Yeah, and if there's anything that needs proper apologies, don't forget to drop it in the correspondence channel on the Discord or whatever, and I'm sure the apology officer would appreciate the additional lines in any given week.
Well, he didn't have many lines tonight, actually. We're not having the Hutton Helper results, so we could do with some more things to say.
Yeah, we're always interested in more stories of oops. Oops is always a good start for a news article.
Yep.
Well, look, thank you very much, and I'm going to hand over to Chicks to check in with the Litho.
Hello, Litho.
Hello, Chicks.
What have you been up to?
What's
going down?
What's going down?
What's going up, even?
What's going up? It's a joke there, but I'm not going to crack it. Game related this week, it's mostly been me involved with a big blue box of ECM network in a bucket. Blowing the dust off all of my networking kit and making sure that it still actually powers up and works, and firmware updates have been applied because it's been 3-4 years since it came out of the box. And yeah.
Is this why the show was late?
No, not at all. Totally unrelated. Not in any way, shape, or form.
Was it?
Honest.
Was it late? How late was it?
About 5 minutes.
Well, that's on time.
More or less.
See,
yeah.
It was on time and on fire at the same time, yes.
A button pushing
Yes.
is never late, nor is he early. He starts
certainly
when
wasn't
he
early.
means to.
Yeah, so some of the buttons may have had a built-in delay. Let's go with that.
Yes.
So yeah, nothing particularly exciting now, but hopefully be exciting in a few months' time when they all get plugged in and switched on and used for live, for real.
And why is that different from what we have now?
when we plug them in a hotel room in a certain hotel in a certain area and plug everybody else's computers into them and say, ladies and gentlemen, and things from Alpha Centauri. ECM is live.
It's going to be a bit of a commute, isn't it?
For me, yeah, it's about 3-4 hours.
4.2 light years, yeah.
Yeah, 2.5 Hutton runs. No, I won't be doing the both at the same time.
Oh, that's Trixie's job.
What's that?
Doing things at the same time.
Well, I'm currently I've just avoided an interdiction. I'm just coming into this planet at the moment.
Right. Well, in which case, Lithobreaker, save him. Before he becomes a lawn dart.
I'm coming in nice 30-degree angle, 40-degree angle.
We got anything else to add?
I'm going to say for the mug and leave you to it then,
Look
chicks.
at those rings.
And Amelia, check in on Flossy, quick.
Hello, Floss.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm not too bad, thank you.
What you been up to?
Well, I've had one night in the late this week.
Monday.
No, Tuesday. It's Tuesday.
It was Tuesday, you're right.
Yeah, because it was with Hanky, and Hanky was doing his chess on Monday. Yeah, so I was doing some missions with Hanky.
Well, that sounds like fun.
These sort of mining missions, 50 million at a time.
Can't beat a good mining mission.
No. So, unfortunately, I did get interdicted a few times by the mission NPCs, who are a lot higher ranking than me.
You didn't lose anything, did you?
I lost 2 T9s.
Ouch!
Full of the material I was collecting.
Ouch! God.
Oh dear. And the second time I actually ended up in a prison ship.
Jesus.
Yeah. I was the victim. But I think it might have been because as I set off from Jameson Memorial, I got stuck in the toast track and I had to sort of log out and back in. But in the meantime I got fined. So I think because I had fines outstanding when I got blown up, it sent me to prison.
So you weren't very lucky on Tuesday then.
No, it wasn't. Very explosive night. But it made up for it because we made lots of money. So,
Nice.
But we were going to do it again later in the week, but I haven't seen it again yet. Otherwise, I've been back in Warcraft.
Ah, yes, I have been doing that also.
I've gone to the Forbidden Reach.
Oh yeah? What did
Yeah.
you think?
Different, and I found there's 8 more glyphs to get. So luckily they were easier to get than the other lot. So I'm all fixed up with them now. And I've just been having a go in the vault up there.
Oh, nice.
I don't quite know all the technicalities yet of what you need, but I'm having fun finding out.
It is a good expansion, this one. It's
Yeah,
possibly
it
my
is.
favourite.
Yeah, it is. It's been for a while, because I did not like Shadowlands at all.
I don't think many people did.
No. In fact, now, as I'm leveling up other characters to go to the Dragon Place, I'm using Chromie and doing different areas with Chromie.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, rather than go to Shadowlands.
Just avoid it completely. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Nobody likes it. And I think that's why this current expansion is so good, is because they're trying to make up for all the mess that they made in the last one.
So, other than that, I don't really think there's anything else. So I will say, for the mug.
For the mug.
And I think it's now me to speak to Vantian. How are you and what have you been up to?
Ooh, well, as you know, I've been away working. I did manage to catch up with Lave Radio last week. Went out for a bite of dinner with Eddie Lee Wise and Sons. Well, not any of the family, but just Eddie Lee Wise, and we went for a bite to eat and a beer, and talk all things ECM-ish related, and life, the universe, and everything. Having not seen in person for a while, it was really good to catch up with Mr. Moss Woodward. So yeah, other than that,
Kate Moss's brother, very like her.
Sorry, pardon?
I said he's Kate Moss's brother, very alike.
Well, you can see the family resemblance.
Yeah.
But yeah, so went out for a bite to eat while I was away. Obviously, I mentioned earlier, managed to dealing with a broken son and combat chess.
Yes, a child.
And then assisting the broken wife as well, and in her recovery, started hydrotherapy with the other half to try and sort of help a little bit the therapy with her various injuries.
Yeah.
So that's improving. Back to swimming and hydrotherapy and all sorts. So been doing a bit, and obviously I managed to be away for Mrs. Van birthday again this year.
No.
Yep. So I managed to get away with that one by sending a reasonable present and going out for a nice bite to eat. Other than that, as was mentioned earlier, I've been working on ECM.
Yeah, I assume you went out for a nice bite to eat with her when you get home and didn't just go, "Happy birthday, I'm going for a burger."
Yeah, no. We did actually find a nice restaurant for a nice brunch we went for actually.
Oh, very nice.
You know, a bit of an eggs royale and real nice place.
Very fancy.
So yeah, other than that, been working on ECM related things, as Litho was mentioning, and Little Grey, who's been going squee a lot all over the Discord channel for ECM. We've made really good progress. We've now got to the stage where I've negotiated as hard as I can possibly negotiate with the venue regarding the price.
Mm-hmm.
There is basically that's it. There is no more left in the tank. I've leaned on them as hard as I possibly can.
There's nothing else to squeeze out of them.
Yeah, I cannot squeeze. Well, we can squeeze them doing more for us, like giving us little rooms at the side for things like Artemis and making sure we've got a projector and bits and bobs. But in terms of getting the price down, there's nothing more we can do. So we've got it to an acceptable level, albeit prices have gone up, and we know this over the last bit. So we were expecting it. The ECM we held at this venue, we are going back to a venue we've been to before. It is going to be in the southeast. It is a venue we've been to before, the marvellous Hilton St Anne's Manor down in Wokingham. So I can say, when I have signed the contract, it will be there. There is no other alternative now that can fit in with when we're all available. So it's that or nothing. Mainly because they remember us and quite like us, probably because they had to go to the cash and carry and buy extra beer last time because we drank it all. It's traditional ECM. It's put on by the community. So I'm organising the room and the day and whatever prices I can get, and then everybody chucks in the tin. And everybody turns up, and what you bring with you is what you're going to be enjoying. So, as Little Grey mentioned, anybody who's got gadgetry and widgetry, bring it along. If you've got a game you want to play, Amelia, then bring that along.
By the community.
I could run Traveller.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we've got we're going to have a much expanded retro section this time. I think when we went along to LaveCon last year, the room we were in, we probably could have filled it twice over.
Yeah.
With all of the stuff people bring. We have been in touch with the late Paul Vernon's partner, Tracy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, Paul Vernon ran a very good collection of retro computing, which is all over the internet and has been exhibited at various Acorn computer bits and whatever else. And one of Paul's wishes was that it all has to end up in the hands of people who love it and be loved in terms of retro gear and not just be used for parts, including some stuff. He's got equipment like you can make. It's the full audio setup with a BBC Micro, including a keyboard and a thing you wave your hand in front of and it makes noise and all sorts. It's one of only 4 in the world. And I've been speaking to Tracy about whether the retro section will be the Paul Vernon Memorial retro section, and we are hoping to have the set on display and usable, from Archimedes, about 4 different varieties, to Masters, to BBC Micro, to Electron, to basically everything that can play Elite, one of, plus every piece of widgetry and gadgetry you could possibly dream of, including a touchscreen for a BBC Micro.
Wow.
The full audio rig, if we can get it working, where you can actually listen to some of the musical compositions that were done on that. For you're talking Doctor Who era from the 1980s audio, and all sorts. So we're in the process of talking to her about that at the moment. I've got to go up and catalogue all the equipment, which involves a drive up to go through boxes and boxes and boxes of. Oh my goodness, I haven't seen one of those. The speech chips, the co-processors, the whole lot. So I'm hoping I'm going to be able to put that together for the retro area. So there's going to be a much bigger retro area. And then obviously all the gaming tables and space for the gaming tables as well. There are people talking about whether they want to organise a quiz again, because the quiz in 2018 was great fun. So yeah, the prices have gone up a little bit, mostly on the food side of things, but I get it. The costs have gone up, the heating costs have gone up, the cooking costs have gone up. So we've got that to within sensible realms for everybody. We are looking at the end of August. So it's not the bank holiday weekend, it's before the bank holiday weekend. So we're looking at the weekend of the 19th of August. Once again, that's the only day I'm available, which means if it's not then, it's not happening. So if you've got pencil and want to start marking your diary, that's a weekend when we're all going to be getting together. Don't do anything yet. Don't book anything yet. But, we're as close as we possibly...
The date.
What?
Save the date.
Save the date, yes. We are negotiating on room rates. So we've got a room rate for the Saturday, just confirmation on the room rate from the Friday for those that want to come down early as well. That's not to say you have to stay at the hotel to come and join us. ECM has always been, we put the room on, you chuck in the tin and join in. If you want to stay at the hotel with everybody, then we've negotiated a rate. But I think there's a Travelodge around the corner and a Premier Inn as well, so it can be tailored to suit your budget. Staying at the hotel is by no means mandatory, and if you get a super discount on that hotel using your points, or you find a discount site that does it cheaper, use it. You're not stuck with using ours. There's no bonus to us by booking through the code that we've got. It just, if it helps you, then we've sorted it out with the venue. So yeah, we're looking at the 19th of August. We're looking down at the Hilton St Anne's Manor. Don't book any hotel rooms yet till we publish anything. Next steps are, Litho's got cables. We're just checking we've got another cable to plug into the other end of it. So I'm waiting for their IT department to confirm we can have the same as last time in terms of internet connection. Once we've got that, we can then officially publish that, yes, it's definitely going ahead. I'm expecting that to be in a matter of days, and then we've got to put the booking form together. The day will include lunch as well as we've done previously. A little bit of an increase in price, but we include lunch so everybody doesn't have to go and scare the chef. When we all scarper to the bar and go, bring me lunch, and the chef has a heart attack when 160 odd hungry commanders descend on the kitchen. So it's really for convenience for us and for the hotel. So lunch isn't really optional. Dinner is optional. If you'd like to join in dinner with everybody, we can put one on, and you'll be able to book that at the time you book your ticket. And then we add it all up and put a dinner on. We're arguing at the moment whether we want burger sliders and tater wedges, plus all the salady bits and whatever, or we want barbecue. So barbecues.
Win to me.
Well, the barbecue dinner's about a £5 extra, so we've got to be careful we don't spend everybody's money for them. But we are taking expressions of interest at the moment, whether you'd rather spend a couple more pennies and have barbecue midsummer, or you just want the burger sliders and that kind of thing. A bit nosh as opposed to something fancy.
Okay.
But
Jack Little has just asked, is there a pool at the hotel? I think
I believe the hotel does have spa facilities.
Yes.
Nudity required.
Yes, and Beetlejuice has said that she may be interested in drawing us some pictures at the event if we can find her a table.
Live Beetlejuice drawings. Now
I think we will find her as many tables as she can use.
As many walls as you want to draw on Beetlejuice. Yes. Absolutely, and really, it is a community-run event, so it's not. I haven't got the wherewithal to do the entire thing on my own. There's a team behind this one. Litho obviously has already mentioned he's helping with the networking, and I've seen somebody in chat say, "Oh, I might have some spare gear." Some wireless access points and things. Once we go live, we'll put contact details in there, and on the booking form, if you want to bring something with you, whether it's a board game or a computer or an Oculus Quest that people can mess about with, or it's a widget like Little Grey was talking about, for everybody to join in with, then this is what this event's about. You bring stuff along, you take part, you show it off. Whether you've got an old Spectrum or whatever you want to put an Elite on, the event is very much put on by the community for all of us to sit down, have a laugh in the company of like-minded geekery, and enjoy a bite to eat, some company, and messing around with games. And it could be dice games, tabletop games, all sorts. The bar quite often has a bunch of people playing Cards Against goodness knows what in the bar into their wee small hours. We're going to try and rig up an Artemis rig for a multi-crew Starship Simulator thing in one of the side rooms. Those of you that have been before will recognise it. We don't know whether we're going to have stage, though we are going to attempt to put on a Hutton Orbital Live, and we are talking to Mr. Shouty about doing a Dockers of some form as evening entertainment after dinner. So yeah, we're getting there. I mean, all we need to do at the moment is sign the contract. There aren't. It's one of these ones. We don't have stalls. We don't have people hawking gear around the side of the thing. It's not that kind of an event. It is very much turn up, have a laugh with your mates, and then it's also for charity. So once we get to the stage where we make an excess, once everybody's chucked in the tin and we get lots of people coming, any excess goes to charity. They're not a penny. We all pay our own way. From the crew, we all pay the same rates, so nobody gets preferential rates. There aren't volunteer rates. We all pay the same way. Any excess that's made from the tickets goes to our two charities, which are Special Effect and Hearing Dogs. We split it 50-50 between the two of them. We also have a habit of running a ridiculously big raffle. The table last time was groaning under it, and Flossy was trying to keep tabs on it, along with the Barkers, I think. Weren't you between you last time, Flossy? There was a big pile.
I can't remember. Yeah,
oh, yeah, there was all sorts. So we're also always looking out for anything that can be put in the raffle for charity as well.
A beanie hat in the middle of summer last year, or last time even. I still wear it. It's great.
There you go. Now we'll be inviting Special Effect to come down and show off some of the work they do as well. In previous years, we've had some of Special Effect team pop along and show off some of the equipment that they use as well to help people get into gaming that need some adjustments to their computers. So there'll be lots to do. In fact, last time at this one, we had a couple of Hearing Dogs turn up as well, from not just Alvin, but also some of Alvin's cohort of additional Hearing Dogs, and one of them was a relatively new pup, I think, as well. Last time came along to say hi to a big crowd of people and introduce themselves to the audience. So yeah, there's lots to do on the day, and there will be more information coming soon. I'm hoping next week, but it entirely depends on the IT team and how quickly they get back to me. So there you go. That's the long version. Apology, officer. I'm sorry I've rattled on there, but I know people have been pushing for more info. Have I lost anybody?
I think we may have lost the apology officer.
Oops. Oh, well, I think
they're very, very sorry, but they have an overheating laptop issue.
Oh, right, okay. Well, so the stunt apology officer can say sorry later. But anyway, for those that were interested in ECM, the Elite Community Meet, by the way, it's not just Elite. We are going to be doing other things as well. But yes, keep the date in your diary. Don't book any holidays then if you do want to come and join us. We are going to be space limited. We are going to be limited to 175 people only. So once we announce it, if you definitely want to get there, do get your name down. Double quick time.
Yeah, so as soon as tickets go live, we will let everybody know everywhere we can and, well, sell tickets.
Absolutely, and reassure everybody, it is probably the most relaxed and friendliest of all the events. Not that the others aren't, but it has a different vibe to it. We have got confirmation from Frontier that they're going to be popping along and joining in. Now, people say, oh, is there going to be a dev panel? No, we don't do dev panels. We invite the devs to come along to take part, to join in. So they come, they play games, and they join in as part of the community themselves. It's not a work gig for them. It's kick back and enjoy the company of everybody else and join in the games.
So if you've ever wanted to play Cards Against Humanity against one of the devs, or sit in the bar and have a couple of beers with some of the community managers, that's on the cards.
Yeah, there is no formal content whatsoever from the devs, and it has never been planned, and it's never going to be planned. We don't want to make them feel like this is a work gig, even though it is, supposed technically, but we won't be sort of sitting them down and pinging questions at them. They might do a quiz team. You never know. They have done in the past.
They come along, they let their hair down, except half, obviously.
Yes. But it will be nice to see them. But I have got confirmation that they are very interested in attending. We don't know who and how many. I have to leave that to their team. We probably won't name drop everybody. They'll probably just say there are some coming, and they'll just turn up and join in. And we are hoping
buy their tickets the same as everybody else.
Yeah, they buy tickets same as everybody else. There is, everyone pays. Everybody chucks in the tin. Other than that, were there any questions I've missed about the event? Anybody here in the green room have any questions, having not been to one before, or are we good?
Where is it? When is it? How much does it cost? Why haven't you announced it yet? Where can we buy the tickets? Hurry up and do it. No, I think we've covered them all.
Yes. What does it cost? Only marginally more than the last one we held in Manchester. There you go.
Only marginally more.
Yes.
Yeah,
but
I think considering that was 2019.
2019, yeah.
2019. So inflation has pushed a lot of things along since then.
It's just only marginally more. Basically, only a whole lot more.
No, it is actually. I have been applying thumb screws like you wouldn't believe. But yeah, I mean, right down to speaking to the kitchen to work out whether they were taking the mickey or that was real. It's not big increases, but it's not bad. It's not bad. We're talking good value, should we say?
Yeah, if you just want to get a ticket to come on the day and have lunch and have a good time, it will be cheaper than most full days out that you could get anywhere, really, especially with food included.
Yeah, and in fact, the hotel rooms are cheaper than the Manchester one, on a par with the Bristol one. So, yeah, they did us a super deal last time. They can't quite match it, but yeah, we've done what we can. We'll put the numbers out there when we've got them, but yeah. Make your way there, have fun. And we will be a few of us, Litho, I think, probably popping down on the Friday evening to help set up. We always need spare hands.
Yep.
Because we don't get access until later in the evening once any daytime events have cleared out on the Friday. So we use the evening time to rig, ready for the next morning. They've been very generous not charging us for that extra time. So we're going to use the evening to rig. So it'll be all hands to the conference room. To get it all set up on the Friday night. If you're interested in helping, when you book your place, put it in the notes field. That's all we can say, really. So sorry, I've gone on a bit about that one. There are various questions, but there'll be more. There'll be more. So I need to say for the mug in that case.
For the mug.
For the mug. Litho, you were checking on Amelia, and then Flossy's
not being the apology officer and talking to Amelia. Yeah.
Yep.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
The wrong way around. How are you?
I'm good. I'm actually taking, this whole week has been just food, relaxation. It's been awesome. Finally able to have home cooked food because, when I was working so much, it was takeouts all the time.
Yeah. Sounds like luxury until you actually do it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really is. Takeouts are horrid compared to home cooked food. So,
yeah.
Back cooking, loving it. I haven't cooked since the COVID, blackout.
Wow, that's when most people started cooking.
I know, right? But yeah, other than that, relaxation, cooking, it's just all good.
Good. Been up to much in game, or just cooking?
Nope, not been up to much in game because I've been trying to sort my house out and get stuff done. Now that I have the free time to do so.
Starting to plan your shopping list for your streaming equipment.
Yes, I've got a list. I've written everything down. I've made notes. I've seen pictures of what I intend to get. compared it with pictures of other things that look quite good, but maybe not quite what I need.
So
Done
you're
all
getting
that
the ones
jazz.
that colour coordinate and match the decor then, yeah?
Yes, exactly.
Excellent. That's the way it's got to be. It doesn't matter what they do as long as they look good.
As long as they look good. Yes, as long as they look techie. You know, like the inside of a starship. That's what I'm aiming for here.
Exactly, yes.
But other than that, yeah, not been up to much. And for the mug.
For the mug?
So it's me to talk to apology officer. Oh dear, she's not here. For the mug.
The apology officer sent apologies, yes, about catching fire.
I'm very, very sorry for the mug.
Yes, and to round us off for the evening, Commander Chicks, you've been oh crikey, what time we've gone on a bit, but we do have time. So your evening, your radio show, you've already told us about the credit that you didn't get, but what have you been doing in your spaceship?
Well, delivering lots of mugs. Struggling with the Hutton Helper issues, of course. Even ran some missions today. I was over at the Orbital and thought I ought to please Alvin.
Okay.
So I finished those, and I've delivered my first mug of the day just now.
Ooh, well, we haven't got the tracker live on the Twitch stream at the moment, simply because that bit of the Hutton Helper is also on fire at the moment. We have reported it to the Intarius, but hopefully it'll be back so we can watch you mugging live next time.
Yeah.
We did have some enthusiasm actually over on for the muggings. Somebody was watching the numbers and over on the Elite Dangerous community, and I linked them to the current event page, and they took one look at your number and went, "What?" I said, "No, you just need to do like at least 10 each week," and they did their 10. They saw the name appear, and they went, "Oh, I'm doing this every week." So they won't quite be chasing you down, but they were boggle-eyed at your numbers.
Well, it's I think the first 10,000 will be the hardest.
But we're getting there, and it sounds like Volcarius has been saving the rest of the galaxy from Thargoids, so those stations aren't offline, along with Hackswing. So
at least at Maelstrom Haddad.
At least a Maelstrom a day, yes. Up until update 15.
Maelstrom a day keeps the Doctor away.
Maelstrom Haddad, the one off to the left.
A Maelstrom a day keeps the Thargoids away.
Yeah, the second one on the left and straight on till morning.
I think that'd be Cockajoe's the one at the top, Thor's the one down the bottom, Tyrannus is centre left, then you've got Indra centre right, Oya top at the right, Raijin's far right, and Ligong's down to the right.
Well, I suppose what we ought to be doing, Commander Chicks, in your efforts is looking at where they might be going next and doing quick, give them a mug now before they come offline.
Well, I must admit, I don't really pay much attention to the flower murdering, but I was pootling around, sort of hunting, spacing around, doing missions today. So I did actually stop and have a look at the sort of 8 clusters. And I did notice that today a rescue megaship was in Altair. Because at first I saw it, I thought, oh, bloody hell, what's that?
Because they do park them a little bit further away from, so they're not right next door and have to get moved every week.
One in Altair earlier on today, I thought. Sorry, of course I clicked on it to say, oh, bloody hell's that? They're not here already, are they?
Well, they're not getting close to Hutton yet. If they do, we'll have to draw a Volcarius-shaped line in the sand,
yes,
along with Hackswing, and squash anything that heads Huttonwards. Because that's not too far away. They're creeping closer.
Yep, I think that's the general intent. Oh, if you look at it's not dual overhead cam, is it? DOCH or DOHC or something, the tracker. It's still a straight line. We don't appear to be slowing them down any, even though, we're murdering them by the...
they're still heading for Sol-ish. I just can't work out whether Hutton's on this side or that side of Sol from them. I need to look.
Well,
whether they squash it and then get us or vice versa.
They sort of roll in at the same time. They're only 4.2 light years away. So,
well, the good news is that the good news was that they didn't seem to be able to set fire to orbitals back in the day. But it looks like yes,
they figured out.
Yeah, and planetary bases. Yep. So we might all have to retreat to one of Hutton's other systems for a bit, and while they get it out of their system over at Hutton Orbital.
It'd be interesting to figure out which is the furthest system away. So it'll be... I don't know. There you go. There's your homework, Bill Carriers.
the furthest one away. Well, thank you very much for your...
Wait. What am I doing?
The furthest Hutton system away from the for the Maelstroms. Which is
the
safest,
theory,
the safest Hutton system.
Oh,
in theory, Hutton Orbital is, because unless they can just... I mean, you're the expert on this as well. Can they jump straight into Hutton Orbital, or do they have to do a Hutton run? And will we see Thargoids registering on the Hutton run? Oh, no,
they can. So, well,
if
you take a look at some systems which have been invaded multiple times, I suppose a good example is Buruidugis in the Haddad Maelstrom. I've seen them invade different. There's no real logic to which ports they choose. They choose the same number of ports each time based on how many there are in the system, but it can be different ports each time. So it potentially, have you got 2 total ports? You've got Aldin and Hutton Orbital.
Stations, yeah.
Yeah, and a planetary something, isn't there? Yeah.
Is it an Odyssey settlement, or is it an actual like a Horizons planetary?
Yeah, I think it's an old school Horizons.
Okay, that counts as 3 then. Yeah,
there are about 6 though. There's I think there are 4 others as well off the top of my head.
I'm having to look it up now. It's
if you've got, just suppose the others are, I don't know if the others are Odyssey settlements, but if you've got 3 actual ports, then you'll be
7 altogether. 7 settlements, 2 starports.
So no actual planetary port.
No, we have Mickelson Vision, which is an old school, but it's not a landable one. A civilian installation, a listening post, a beacon, and you're right, 7 and 2 starports, and the 7,
Yeah, so Odyssey stuff doesn't count towards the port, so that you've got 2 ports basically, which means you'll have a 3-week invasion. So there'll be 1 will attack in the first week, after the alert, that is. Then on the next week, that one will be damaged, and the next will be attacked, and then you'll have a 3rd week where the first one will be offline and the second one will be damaged, but then that's it. They'll go to control after that.
Right. And I think what Chicks was originally asking is, assuming they're travelling in a straight line from where they are, which is the safest Hutton place to hide in?
So you have to calculate the plane function of the centre of the Maelstrom.
No, you just no. You just use Pythagoras. So
that's
just
what
get.
I mean.
Lies.
Thargoid leaves station
What is
A,
it,
travelling at 3.6 light years per hour.
You've got to draw
And
a
another
plane of
Thargoid
best
leaves
fit,
station B.
least squares.
The sum of the mugs on the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares of the gin in the other 2 bars, or something, isn't it?
That's the one, yeah.
Bars.
Do we allow squares in our bars?
Well, this is
only if they're buying around.
Yeah,
if they're buying around, anyone's allowed.
I think it'll be probably more appropriate not to worry about trying to do sums of squares and such, and
it's more fun.
Take whichever's closest to each system. So maybe Oi is closer to some, and maybe you've expanded all the way over Ligong's closer to one of your systems down there somewhere. But
I think
whichever's closest.
Yeah, we'll just find somewhere silly named and just hope they laugh themselves into a. No, we're not going to go there. It's a silly place. Someone like Bonkers. They can't have Bonkers. It's silly. Well, thank you very much.
I'll send you an email. Do you want an email with the list once I've compiled that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Feel free. You know the usual address.
Yes.
Yeah, I need to. Well, I've got all the list of all the Maelstroms, but I need to get a list of your systems and their coordinates first. So,
which we have somewhere.
Yeah, it's on hot.forthemug.com.
We control 27. There's a presence in 36.
Oh, are you interested in all of those, or just the controlled ones?
Oh, just the controlled ones. The other ones were there, but we really can't be bothered.
Impressors.
Sure. Yeah, okay. I'll just grab the list off of hot.forthemug.com, look all those up first, and then compile that list for you.
Ah, fantastic. I'm just looking. That's not a controlled one. That is a controlled one. Our furthest one is 44 light years away from home. There you go. Which is
but
LP
in
53281.
But in which direction?
That's the question.
Because if you look at the galaxy sort of, Sad J up north, all the maelstroms are off to the left-hand side at the moment.
Yeah, they'll generally the maelstroms surround Sol, and thus also Alpha Centauri. But if you've got systems which are the other direction from the maelstroms, then those will be the safest ones, obviously.
I suppose if you were talking Terry Pratchett, you'd be talking hubwards and rimwards.
Yes.
Yes. Right. Well, look. Thank you very much, Commander Chicks. Thank you very much to everybody in the green room. Commander Chicks, have you got anything else for the moment? You got anything else to add, or are we?
No. I think we're done. We've had enough of this.
With this amount of chat, it's a shame there isn't a drop. Yeah, we don't have drops this week, which means you're here just for the joy or the pain, whichever. Well, thank you very much to everybody. Now, Amelia.
Yes.
We need to warn the people in the green room. We need to warn the listener, just in case there's a listener who doesn't understand what's about to happen. So, look, what's about to happen is going to be very loud. And it's going to be Amelia who's the cause of it. So, if you're wearing earphones, if you've got something stuck in your ear, if you've got the volume turned up loud, you might want to just turn it down a wincy little bit, sort of sometime soon. We're going to give them a minute or two.
Or you can just take it.
Or somebody thought that the klaxon was the very loud thing and turned the volume back up after it. The klaxon is the warning, not the loud thing. Okay?
Yes.
And if you thought the automatic voice leveling thing would make your ears bleed, and this will.
Yeah. So if you don't want a loud noise, please turn away now. Now we'll probably raid somebody. Just before we go, is there anybody streaming at Elite at the moment that we want to raid at the end of this and pop in and do Hutton things at them? Is Woolies off again?
Yeah, Woolies is on.
Woolies is on. Woolies is eliting. He's usually on for at least another hour or two from this point.
Well, if you haven't watched Commander Woolies, we're going to raid him at the end. We're going to play the Hutton tune, then we're going to raid Woolies. So hang about if you do want to raid somebody else playing Elite.
He's got such a soothing voice.
It is. It's perfect bedtime story time.
Relaxation galore.
And unlike us, he's also seamless.
Seamless.
Right.
He goes around asking bacteria to be his friend.
For the mug!
The mug!
Mug.
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 Journey too long, or cargo too small. Profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We're taking anything, anytime, anywhere. Loading all the teen out to the brim with the rest for the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Yeah, everybody sing the trucker song. Flossy always seems to crash into the sun. Skibble lies the pilot on the Xbox One. Alvin at the free, you know he leads us well. Trucking across the galaxy, now everybody out. For the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. For the more, for the more, for the more. You know just where we're coming from. For the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. give me a large path that I can land on, and I'll give you cargo and sing you my song. 0.22 light years to go, cruising to no journey too long, no cargo too small. The profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We're taking anything, anytime, anywhere. So shout it out loud, like you don't even care. For the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the more, for the more, for the more. Everybody sing the and trucker song. For the more, for the more, for the more. Yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the more, for the more, for the more. Everybody sing the and trucker song.
Any pilots visiting the orbital, please ensure that you have been to the infirmary.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the show. Everyone's buggered off now, so why don't you bugger off too?